Dude, start the podcast.
Wow.
You recording, Gordon?
Gordon's recording.
Let's go. I think that's the cleanest one I think we've had so far, man. That's perfect. You're natural already. Welcome everybody to another Freedom 35ers for Cardano NFT podcast, episode 32, technically episode 33 for all the OGs out there. My name is Tommy. I go by TLWMY.
My name is TJ. I go by Lazy T.
And I am the other Tom. I go by Lavish Bear.
And tonight we're joined by some ADA superheroes out here tonight. We have CardanoMan and Clark Kent. Guys, welcome onto the show.
Thank you so much for having us. Great to be here.
Thank you for having us.
I appreciate it, man. It's been dope, man. We got
awesome.
Yeah, we got some big players inside the space tonight, man. It's dope to have you guys on. I've seen you guys all over Twitter throughout many months of us doing this stuff inside spaces, inside projects, man. I know you guys are OGs inside of this this NFT world that we live in right now. So happy to have you on, happy to host and jump into this podcast, man.
Dude, I am super happy to be here. I love that you're calling me an OG because when I came in, I didn't feel like an OG.
Yeah.
But now it's so long and so many new people have joined the space that I guess a lot of people consider, me an OG, but I don't. So
it's crazy. How long do you put your stripes in to actually be considered an OG inside the Cardano space, right? We've been here a little over a year now. I got in during August, so I felt like I was early, but there was obviously people way before me. What about you guys? Let's always start that out. It's a fun thing for our guests, for anybody who's just getting to know you guys. We can kind of start with you, Cardano, man. What was your journey into Cardano and CNFTs and your kind of timeline into this world?
So we hopped in August, around August, similar to you guys. And I have to thank Clark Kent here for bringing me to Cardano because he for a while before we jumped into Cardano, we were just in the vague general crypto space. We were on, the Binance Smart Chain, which was hell.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. Spent some time trading Ethereum NFTs. And then I think Clark actually got sent the very first drop of Cypher Kicks. It was sent to him from a friend and he was like, yo, Cardano has NFTs. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to buy this one. It was a Coco Loco. He sent it to me. I was like, dude, I'm not.
It was before the drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if I want to get into Cardano NFTs.
Right.
But lo and behold, here we are. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was Cypher Kicks, also Cardano Beans.
I remember Cardano those too. I remember those, yeah.
Yeah. I did 6 or 7 of those. I mean, they're what they are. But at the moment, that rush of minting, I loved it. I loved every second of it.
That was a good time though. You see the address drop, you copy and paste, you just hammer in the keyboard to get in there quickly. I remember those days. That was a good time actually.
Everything was like a version of the 2500 Club. If you were in there, it was just project, mint, and it was just everything was mooning in that time. It was so new too. I would just get on the day back on when CNFT, just go log on. If there was a new project on there, I was checking the date and making sure I was part of that mint back in that time. But it was such a different world that we lived in then compared to where we are today. And to see the evolution even in this short amount of time is crazy. But that's awesome to hear that you guys were around that same time frame as us, because even me, I was talking to the guys in August. I think I've minted, we've always talked about this on our show, the Cardano trees. I minted one of the super rares over there, flipped it. And before that, these guys were looking at me like I was crazy, talking to them about all the stuff that I was selling. And eventually when we started seeing some returns, they were just like, all right, how do we get into this?
Well, you were crazy at first.
100%. Some of the stuff you bought, a little crazy.
Yeah. Charman the Gucci ball, the first CNFT I ever bought. It was a fun time, man. But it was so new, dude. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I don't think anybody can really understand NFTs until you actually purchase one and kind of get the grasp of what it means to be in part of a community and just own something. It's really weird to explain.
What's the full explanation of why can't I just copy and paste and say it's mine? It's just, you just can't. It's not yours. So don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's so hard for people to wrap their minds around seeing these pictures online to say, I just want to copy and paste it to my screen now. That's mine now. But you just can't do that.
Oh, right. I remember that, DeFi, like you said, you guys came around that same time. We were messing around last year. TJ got us into Safe Moon. Back in April last. Yeah, he got us going into that. We started getting a pancake swap and hearing all this crazy shit going on. There's DeFi summer. We got, our taste of
we were messing around on Binance.
Yep. Yeah, we were in those
BNB
days
token and all that.
Swap to smart chain BNB. Oh, it's a pain in the ass, bro.
Yo, if you come from the Binance ecosystem, you are built for.
Yeah.
There is nothing that will catch you off guard that you're not ready for. That was the most relentless, fast-paced, fast-moving like crypto ecosystem ever. You buy something, 10 minutes later it's up 100x, 10 minutes later it's worth nothing.
I remember minting like Safe Panda and like Moon Token, Moon Pirate, all that crap that just coming out.
After Safe Moon, there was a
One Doge,
safes.
all that stuff, dude. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was a weird time, man. So we were just like, all right, yeah, we'll get into this. But then NFTs at first, like the stigma to that was just like, all right, you buy one of these things and they're going to rock it up. And that's right around like the time like Bored Apes really started to take off in that time frame. And then, from there, the CryptoPunks, all that stuff was being bought up by like Visa. We were talking about that. And it's just like that movement started. And we were just like, okay, well, we're in Cardano. We're early over here. Things are super cheap. There's no gas. It's just, it feels safe in this little area. It's going to moon up. And it's been crazy to see like the evolution of where we started and even currently where we're at and how much volume these other chains are still doing over us. With that amount, that room to grow is still so high for us on this side. But I feel very good, especially after about a year under my belt. Just about like the technology, the space, the people that are building here. It feels like a good place to be right now.
Absolutely.
So anybody too, just tuning in for us, the podcasts. I know we did do a live stream over here. We switched our schedule around just for Freedom 35ers. We do our F35 live. These are going to be kind of like our deep dives into projects. We've kind of always done that through our podcast, like kind of hammering in on topics and set lists and going, really in depth on some stuff. And I think, that's where that Monday night is going to be reserved for us, kind of spread out our content a bit. And these, where we're doing now, like with you guys, where it's, let's just talk, let's have a good conversation about some awesome topics, great projects still. But, just kind of let the conversation flow a bit more on the actual scheduled podcast. So if anybody's wondering, that's the reason that we're doing what we're doing right now. So I don't know, TJ and Tom, you guys want to speak on that at all, but it definitely feels better. I like the spread.
I mean, it's nice. I know we've already said this. We said during the live stream, or a lot of the reason is because we come out Friday mornings. We were doing a live stream Thursday night. It just kind of seemed everything was on top of it, itself. We were stepping on our toes. So I think it'll be nice to have that spread live stream Monday. Then the show comes out Friday morning, give that, kind of time for people to enjoy it on their schedule.
Not only that, though, we talk Wednesday night. We're recording now. It's Wednesday. And then we would do a live stream Thursday. So we have almost very similar reaction and conversation, just similar topics that we just talked about. So it's hard to watch two separate videos of the same shit we're saying. So that's why we kind of did the schedule change, too.
Well, I was going to say, I'm sure, Clark and the CardanoMan, you guys probably have somewhat similar issues when you do like multiple spaces back to back, or you're doing one space and then you jump in one right after because that one ends, and then a similar topic or the same topic gets brought up, same project, and you're like, well, I mean, what I said an hour ago was really good, so I'm not going to, I'm not going to come up with something else. Like I said it perfectly before, so I'm sorry if you were in there, you're going to hear it again. Like,
it sucks to suck. Go back and listen to the other one.
Yeah,
yeah. It's definitely different too. Plus, you don't want to drop, especially this YouTube world, man. Like doing like 4 to 6 hours of content back to back, dude. I don't got time to watch any of that shit. Let's be real. Like if anything, I'd rather spread that out and give you a few days to kind of consume that, if anything. So that's kind of the reason we're doing what we're doing. Plus, we're having guests with you guys on. I think we've always envisioned like a podcast. You always see some of the, the bigger names over there. They always have whole guests onto these shows. And what a better chance. Why would I, hammer into a bunch of different topics about things when we get a chance to talk to you guys, with guests being onto the show? Let's learn a little bit about your world and like keep that conversation rolling. So I think we're happy to have you guys on for the first time where we're kind of transitioning that format back to an actual, just conversation. So appreciate you guys jumping on tonight. We got some fun stuff. I guess the first question that we kind of wanted to throw out to you guys, CardanoMan, especially, man, you've grown exponentially inside this space. You're, over 13,000 followers on Twitter now. I wanted to kind of ask you, dude, what's it been like? I feel like you've been like kind of known as more like a personality inside this Cardano NFT space, especially with that profile pics on it's
a fire profile picture.
It is so recognizable.
I would mint it personally. I think it's a fire picture.
Yeah. So I have to ask, what's it like being a personality inside, or do you even think of yourself like that? And how did that kind of come? Was that always something that you kind of wanted to do, or how did that evolve for you?
It's interesting because I don't think I would have ever envisioned that it would have gone to this point. And I don't even want to say like this point, because I don't think I've done or become anything that is so substantial or great. I think what I'm the most thankful for is that I've gotten myself in a place where people like you reach out to me to have these conversations, and I can reach out to people who are creating projects and have conversations with them and learn about their process. And it kind of feels like the greatest thing that CardanoMan has given me is, aside from the people at like IOHK and the Cardano Foundation, anyone in the CNFT ecosystem, I'll say Cardano NFT ecosystem, I can get to. Like I can DM them and they'll respond. And that I think is the best thing, because now I can make genuine relationships with everybody, learn about what they're doing, have conversations like this, and hopefully provide value that people want and respect. I always wanted to maintain my integrity, because I am just a person, and I care about what people think of me, not as much like, oh, he dresses weird or, oh, he sounds weird, but I never want anyone to think of like CardanoMan as a sellout or as someone who doesn't have integrity. And it's really easy for that to happen. So it's been interesting. This growth journey has been really interesting. And the approach I've taken to this ecosystem has been different. It started out really educational, like from that perspective, because as you guys know, we spent time in the Binance ecosystem. You start to learn what a rug pull or what a bad project looks like. And then from there, I went into ETH NFTs. And so when Cardano NFTs were just blowing up, a lot of people literally didn't know what to look for in a project. They didn't know who to trust, what things you're supposed to evaluate, whether it's the team, whether it's the art itself, whatever it is, people just didn't know. So I was kind of just very vocal and stern about my opinions and what I thought of these projects and what I thought the founders' intentions were. A lot of people literally just want to make money and leave tomorrow. And it's kind of easy to tell when that's the case, but for a lot of people it isn't. For me it is, because we came from Binance. So, so it's been kind of crazy to see how it's evolved over time. And now I just feel like a person. Like I've spent less time grilling projects, because I realized that a lot of the things on my Twitter were negative. Like I would just tear projects apart in real ways,
like not unfair, but still, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And I was over the negativity. So I kind of stopped doing that. I also think people learned, like I wasn't needed as much. Like people didn't need me to quote unquote save them, because everyone learned. Once you get your money stolen in a rug pull, you start, your defenses go up. You start to look, you care a little more, you look a little deeper. I think everyone went through that, and it felt a little unnecessary for me to just keep tearing projects apart. So I've tried to be a lot more positive, lift projects up, and just be a member, community member.
Well, I'm curious because it's something, we discuss quite often when it comes to that too. You can only make, so many posts a day. You can only have so much time in the space. It is finite. So we've found too, you end up, if you end up focusing sometimes too much on like, there's so many projects you just like, don't buy this, where we're just like, the whole show could be that. We could spend 2.5 hours doing that, and then no one's gonna want to watch that. Like, just like, hey, thanks for the 2.5 hours of what not to do and just terrible things that aren't, worth anyone's time. Why is that worth my time to watch? So we just end up focusing on all the projects we do get into or enjoy or see that catch our attention, and that seems to take up enough of our time where you end up just not even worrying about any of the negative stuff because you don't have time for it. You just kind of like, I'm passing on it, but do what you did. Oh, but you made money, great, awesome, cool.
Well, I wanted to kind of, you said something there, made me think about the name itself, like where CardanoMan and like that ADA superhero is. You said they don't need me to save them anymore. Did you feel like in the beginning, like, hey, I'm here to help people out to a point where that's where that name and that moniker kind of got adopted, or was that how that kind of, or maybe what was your process behind that?
So when we created the account, and me and Clark made the account together, and he's helped literally with everything from the beginning. When we created it, I wanted, what's up?
No, I was going to say real quick before you got into that, I always, because Clark's sitting here and I'm just like, yo, I thought you two were the same person.
I swear, I would have bet $1,000 on you guys are the same person.
I just thought Clark Kent was your shitpost account. Like, this is the one I can go to. It's my alter ego. It's a Clark Kent account. I can go on here. I can say whatever the fuck I want. And then, like people will just think like, is this CardanoMan? But I was convinced it was just, one person, same account.
I will say, I thought you were going to have glasses on. little disappointed, no glasses.
He just busts out the.
You should have put them on with the glasses.
So when I asked, when I was like, "Oh, can Clark Kent join?" Did you guys expect?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I thought you were just about to hit like a booth and just turn around, and then all of a sudden just be back. It's another
Clark,
guy.
yeah.
I'm swapping windows on me.
Personalities.
That would be amazing.
It was funny, man. So you guys created that account together. So you guys were both posting from that account? Was that both your mutual thoughts, or was that just like, hey,
it was both of our mutual thoughts. We would sit down and sorry.
You're good. Sometimes we get Tom's cat that does the same thing. So it's fine.
Tom's cat barks?
I mean, it doesn't quite bark like that, but
it makes an animal noise.
Makes noises, yeah.
No, but yeah, we would sit down and think together about how to write these tweets, what to write, what is relevant, what can we, jump on that's hot that people care about. Mm-hmm. What did we see that bothered us? Like the whole reason that in the beginning I felt like I was bringing value in the direction of education from that direction was because I would see things that people were posting constantly and buying. And I was like, I know where this is going to go. Someone has to say something. If no one's going to say something, this is not good. So that was kind of where we came in. And when it came to creating the account, we were looking at the Cardano NFT ecosystem, and we didn't want to come in as like ourselves. I didn't want to make an account like Dory, like at Dory, because it felt better. Not that I wanted something to hide behind, but if we're going to build a brand and a reputation, it's kind of better to build it around like a character, like a superhero.
Right.
And we've seen that with a lot of accounts, like even Hosky. Yeah, it's a shitcoin, it's a dog, but you connect with Hosky. You're not actually like necessarily connecting with the person behind it. You're resonating with this character that is Hosky. So I think it just made sense for us to come in from that direction and have kind of this other thing that people could connect with and stand behind that, had a place.
Well, we even saw that with, I remember someone was joking around with Grumpy Bunnies in their account, and they said something back, and they actually said like, well, actually, we got like 3 or 4 people. I'm just one of those people that handle this account. So I'm not sure, who you were joking with, but it wasn't me the other day. So I think, like you said, though, just to that, the effect, like it goes a long way, like then you guys also can both tackle it early on when there's just so much to cover. I can imagine having us three, like having the 3 of us, I think gives us such an advantage sometimes where we all have our little roles we are able to help each other with.
Yeah,
100%. I would not be here without Clark, and he would not be here without me, because the one thing about our relationship, which actually like continues into our professional work world and also just our friendship, we both bring very different things to the table. This man, Clark, is in every single Discord. He knows about every single project. He's on every single whitelist. He is literally in the weeds.
He's the man.
It's fun being a full-blown, especially the last like 2 weeks in this like new era where you have to like camp out on Twitters and get OG to even be able to mint. Like I've been the biggest fiend and like all over the board, because like you just kind of need to if you like want to flip and make money. Like
100%. We're the same way, where we had like, now we have a Discord. We had to create one at some point when we had this going, but like you get people in the Discord that throw it at you, or that one of us will do the same thing. And it's like, you need those resources. I can't, none of us can keep up anymore if you're just the 2 of us. Back in the day, maybe. But I wanted to send that out because obviously the 3 of us, we've known each other. We've been friends for 20 plus years. How's the friendship impacting you guys? Acquaintances, whatever you want to call it. You're all right, man.
Friends is strong.
My little window neighbor over here. No, how's the friendship been for you guys kind of when it's transitioned, like you said, from professional, and how does that give you guys an advantage for what you guys do?
I think it's been great. I think we've grown closer. We've been friends since we were like 5 years old. So
that's awesome.
Similar. Okay. Yeah. Very similar. How old was TJ, Tommy, when?
It was probably about like 5.
I was 5. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been like 26 years, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we grew up together. So we also know each other really well. That's also an advantage. Like we know what's in each other's minds. We know how we look at things from different perspectives in certain ways. So it's just been good to have that kind of diversity of what you bring to the table, because I can only bring what I bring to the table. He can only bring what he brings to the table, but CardanoMan is kind of bringing both. So it's been really helpful in that sense, for sure.
Well, okay. So there's always been 2 people behind the thing. Would you guys ever, the more you guys get out into these spaces and kind of start talking about the 2 of you guys together, would you guys ever consider changing the name to CardanoMen?
So we actually had we talked about this for a while. The thing is, like, I don't know how to say this. Like, I'm naturally a little more well-spoken and outgoing, and that's like my skill set. It's what I like to do. I like to talk. I like joining spaces. I will critique. I'm a better writer than him. I can say that proudly.
Fair enough.
He's gotten so much better over the last 5 months.
Like you mean like on Twitter and stuff like that?
Yeah,
same thing. Yeah, like
I don't write anything on Twitter. I'm terrible at that. Tommy handles all that.
Tommy does a fantastic job on Twitter.
He's better with words.
I'm the writer,
I do
speaker,
editing and stuff like that, so it works much better.
Yeah, dude, we all have a role to fill, right? So it's like I said, a good balance between the two of you guys, right?
Yeah, and that's why we created Clark Kent, so that because it was at a certain point, he was like, dude, no one knows who I am. And it kind of feels shitty to put in all this work. And I agree. I don't want it to be like that. But I also we both didn't want to kind of like destroy the CardanoMan lore. I think we both felt it would be a little weird to switch it to CardanoMen. So I was kind of like, well, how do we get around this? And it worked out. And
like DMing people, like we each had like our own friends from the same account that we would DM.
Yeah.
Like, you can't not know who you're talking to when it's like on that level.
You guys have done a great job, because the fact that we thought you guys were one and the same, that already blended perfect to what you guys were doing. I feel like you guys could just eventually, you guys could grow in this brand. You guys will have like a whole universe. You could set up the whole, like the Marvel scene or the DC scene, something where you just evolve CardanoMan into its own ecosystem if you start building team members with you guys.
When comic book?
Yeah, dude, you guys, shout out to that, man.
Well, I would say back to the PFP that you guys love, all of that goes to Bajewski, who so long ago reached out to me. It was like, I think he made it without even me asking. Like, he just DM'd it to me. And
so it's iconic now inside the CNFT space, man. I love the artwork for that, man. It's such a good thing. I can't imagine, like, for you guys, you're just like, damn, man, I would have, if I would have got that thing, I'm like, all right, well, we're not changing that picture anytime soon.
Yeah,
they actually are minted too. There's 5 of them, different colorways.
That's cool.
That's Attack on Vitalik Policy ID.
That's dope. That's a dope project.
Clay has one. I don't know what the other like 3 are.
Yeah, we gave them away just on Twitter. And it was perfect. They do comic books. We're a superhero. It's like the perfect match for him to create that. And he asked. He was like, do you want to work on a project? I'm pretty delicate with that stuff, because I don't think I could be CardanoMan if I had a project. And if I'm going to do a project, it's going to be something I'm really passionate about and feel like I can actually build on and handle. And I've spent the last 4 months trying and looking into every possibility to create what would be like a Tekken Street Fighter style video game.
Yeah.
Where the characters are NFTs. And it's like, all right, well, I don't have $1 million to do that. And I'm not going to take other people's money to build it later. So I can't do it right now. Like, maybe in the future I'll be able to pull it off, but I've tried, and I'm probably the biggest idiot ever, to be honest, because I could have a lot more money than I have right now and have a project, and I'm probably an idiot for not doing that, but it just feels like the right thing to do.
No, you're just true to your word and your morals, though, too.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to tarnish that. You've built something reputable, and you don't want to tarnish it by just throwing out a random project because your name's on it now. That's why we respect that a lot.
Before we started this show, the amount of times we looked at this, just like, damn, if I just didn't have like any integrity, we could be just killing it. Right
we could have just easily rug pull back in the day. It'd be so easy.
Rug pull. I mean, especially back, like, I'm not sure. I'm sure TJ had a similar start to me. Like, the first time we finally were like, okay, we need to get into this CNFT space. I need some people to follow. I probably just searched on Twitter, or maybe probably just went through Tommy's follow list. It was jumping on a bunch of those. So that's where
Cardano, I did.
Yeah, CardanoMan was like one of those early ones then. But back then, one of the big ones that you and a couple other names that were calling out were like just clearly stolen art. People were like, oh, I'm so excited for this, man. I can't wait. I'm going to mint 10 of them. It's only like 35 ADA. ADA was like 220 back then. And then you guys were all posting pictures, like, just Google, like, reverse image, like, this picture. Like, half this stuff was just copy and pasted, like, right out of Google. It wasn't even taken from an Ethereum project or something. They just copied everything over. And those are the ones I assume too. You're like, I have to say something. I can't just, like, people like throwing $75 at this, like, oh, this is going to be great. But doing that kind of thing, like, it was just the most low effort. Then they were selling. People would sell it. I mean, sometimes they wouldn't sell out, but whatever. You still only sell a third of your project. And, it was $80
copy
back
and
then.
paste.
Yeah, exactly. You just filled in the colors on some pictures off Google back then.
Yeah. Well, I think to argue where you're at as far as building a project, man, what you guys are building is a brand right now. That, and in reality, that's more worth than any 10K project that you can drop right now, long term, especially if you plan to be inside the space, man. You guys are very well received inside the community, well respected. And like you said, you have so many new opportunities and access to new contacts because of what you guys have done for the space itself. So I think that's more valuable than anything, especially like we've talked about that as well on our show. Like, hey, would you guys consider doing a project? It's like, unless I have something meaningful at this point to offer, I would never.
Nothing.
And I got nothing right now. And like you said, I don't got millions of dollars to go ahead and do anything. So the best thing that we can do is get in front of these creators, talk to these people inside the space, people that we're fans of as well, learn about what they're building and see how this space evolves over time and get that information to more people.
It's one of those things too.
You don't, CJ, Tommy?
Huh?
You don't have $1 million?
I wish, man.
I thought we were like pretty close to getting me full hologram, so I could just,
that'd be dope.
Just have me projected right here.
No, it's one of those things though, where you don't want to create something you wouldn't mint yourself. I think that's where we kind of stand with that. Like, I'm not going to just make something just to make it. If I wouldn't actually mint it, why would I make something? That just doesn't make any sense.
It goes even down to that as far as reviewing projects. Sometimes, man, it's like, I don't even want, if I wouldn't mint this myself, like, why am I talking, why am I trying to push this out? And, we run into YouTube world. It's tough. It's a tough like subject to kind of keep going, but at the same time, not want to stay true to your values. So at the end of the day, though, I think people see the realness in you guys and hopefully in us as well, where we're being genuine about what we do, what we love, and trying to grow the space itself. So I really appreciate that. And I know that can get taxing sometimes. Like Clark, you're saying you're in every Discord, you've been hanging out on Twitter, you're grinding whitelist, dude. Have you guys, we wanted to always ask this because we've definitely, I think, experienced this at some point here, especially in the last few months, grinding the way we have is burnout, man, especially inside this NFT space, dude. I wanted to throw that to you guys. You guys kind of experienced this burnout to the point where you guys like, I just need a break. I need to detach. I need to, my social life's taking a toll. My health's taking a toll. Like, I just need to take a step back. Or have you had anybody reach out to you to say, you should take a step back?
I want Clark to answer first because from my perspective, this man never burns out. So I definitely want to hear what you have to say about that.
The answer is yes, of course. I mean, like, especially there's some times where just like your NFTs aren't selling, you're getting shit mints, you're just not like hitting it. Like Discords are slow and like, I mean, like this space is just so mentally exhausting to try to even keep up with like more than like 5 or 10 projects at a time. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, honestly, the biggest thing is like on weekends, I try to like really just put my phone down and put my laptop away. Unless like I'm really not doing anything, then my entire night will be in Discord on JPEG Store and like really in the depths. But I mean, for the most part, like you just have to take a break, like at least like 2 nights a week, like fully detach.
Yeah. I agree with that. What about you, CardanoMan?
It's been the last, I think 2 months have been pretty brutal, not even in the sense that during those 2 months have been burnt out, but I've really taken a big step back from my involvement in everything in the space. I used to host Twitter spaces religiously and I would do it all the time. And I used to be in Twitter spaces and I would put a tweet out every day and me and Clark would text back and forth, what are we bringing to the table today? And it's not that I've lost my motivation or my interest or my passion. I think quite literally things got old and boring. And I was saying the same things over and over again. And the things that I was saying, there were 10 other people saying them. And I was like, fuck this. Like, this is like, it wasn't like this when I started. Now it feels a little stale. And so I've kind of taken a step back and been like, look, I'll be there when I need to be. I'll be there when I want to be. I'll tweet about things that I feel like I have to speak on, or if there's something that comes to my mind, whatever, but I don't want to wake up every single day anymore and think, what is CardanoMan tweeting? What is CardanoMan doing? Like that killed me. It was like, well, I have things outside of CardanoMan that is a life, and I was neglecting all of that. So yeah.
Dude, yeah, I feel you, like, especially like in that sense of waking up and be like, what do I have to do today outside of my regular responsibilities in life? We all work, career jobs over here. We wake up, do our normal 9 to 5 or 8 to 6, whatever it is, and then get home 6 p.m. later, 8:30 p.m. and okay, guys, we got a plan. Hey, we got to do this. And it's just like, holy shit. There's some nights where you just want to be like, I don't want to do any of that. I want to just go chill. I want to play video games. I want to detach mentally myself. And now it seems like, especially for us, man, I know that feeling where I'm on till 8 to 12 o'clock at night. And then it's like 2 a.m. hits and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's my time that I actually had to myself finally. And I'm spending later and later. And all of a sudden now I'm waking up later and, it just impacts your health. It impacts it's so much, man. So I've been feeling that a lot lately too. So it's good to hear that there's others, that are big inside the space that have kind of gone through that, and how that can really affect you if you don't get control of it. So I think that's something that a lot of people don't speak on. I've seen some people put good threads together on Twitter for that, but I think that's an important part, man, is there's life outside of this world.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think even like same time frame as you guys, the past like month and a half, like all three of us, we talk all the time, all week, but then Friday, Saturday, Sunday hits, we'll maybe, if a mint's going on, we'll mention it, but outside that, we don't talk. We just spend time with our family, do whatever we have to do, just detach from everything in our phone. So I completely understand what you're saying, because there was nights where we were going every single night, just looking up stuff, collaborating, thinking of stuff to do, stuff to talk about. So it does. If you do this stuff all the time, you're going to get burned out quickly.
Well, and also we do have our lives outside of this, but even our life inside this, it should still be fun. We're
Absolutely.
making money, but it's nice when you can actually jump in a Discord and not just be like, hey, what are you idiots doing to get my floor price higher? Like, you can actually kind of joke around, or there's some regular names in there, sending some memes. It's a good time to actually get in and do that. And it even messes me up where I'll miss things because of that, because of the burnout. Like, I remember we had the week, I think the first CNFT live, we had gotten on and we did like 2 hours of planning the night before. You guys did Aaron's, the Cowboy Crypto Show that night. We did the 4-hour live stream. Then Wednesday we had a sit down first. And then I think we had, I don't know, it was Ken back then or who it was that week. And then we had the show we recorded the same night. And Thursday we did something as well. And it was just like, this is way too much. So then the next week, I think we had a sit down scheduled for Monday with like a project to talk to them. I remember sitting before that, just like, I don't want to do this at all.
We're like, did they cancel? Well,
and it sucked because then, it didn't suck because then it was even better, because when we did the thing, I was like, that was fantastic. Like, they were, I don't remember who it was, but it was like, they were so cool. I'm so glad we did this. But I just wasn't at that time. Like, I was just, oh man, I really just want to sit here and do nothing, as opposed to, so I miss out on stuff. And same thing with projects. I'm sure you guys have had even more with some projects where, especially like you said, CardanoMan, where things, kind of repeat, where you're looking at roadmap after roadmap. There's a period, everyone is just game, metaverse, token, whatever utility is. Every single one is the same thing. And it ends up becoming where like, I just would like look at some of the projects. Like, I can't read this. It's all the same. You know what I mean? I'll read the 2 projects before, be the same exact thing. And then you don't mint something that ends up actually being quality, or, does take off. And you're like, son of a bitch. Like, I just wasn't in the mood at that time though.
You mentioned something, Tom, that I'm going to skip a few topics here out of order. Tommy's going to shoot me, but I have to bring it up because you said the word metaverse. So to me, metaverse is you're wearing your VR headset, right? And you're actually in the world in a sense, right? You're moving around with your paddles and shit like that. And you're walking around. These projects, which eventually I'm sure there will be a metaverse, hopefully, that it will be able to link your NFT to the blockchain, to the headset, and you're able to walk around. Right now, essentially what they're creating is, to me, just an open world game with your mouse and keyboard. It's not really a metaverse, in my opinion. What is your guys' take on what is a metaverse to you?
This is a hot topic.
It is.
I have a definition that I stick to, and it is what I feel. And I'd be very content with these things being considered metaverse and this being like what it turns out to be. I'd be very happy. I don't look at the metaverse as like VR. What's that movie that came out?
Ready Player One. That's what I picture.
So I picture that, but not actually you're in a VR world. Like, think of GTA, think of Rust, think of all these games that are already open world. You're running around. I think what I think, and I think what a lot of people think when they hear metaverse, is now embed an actual economy into this world that is created on GTA, an economy in which you can bring money in and you can take money out. And that's what hasn't existed until now with Sandbox, Decentraland, and things of that nature. And I'd be super happy to have that. Like if I'm going to play a game like GTA and you're telling me I can make money and I can buy things early on when the game releases and they're going to hold value and I can accumulate kind of an inventory of objects that you already do in GTA. You already buy houses, you already buy cars, you already buy clothing, but they're worth nothing really. So now you embed an actual economy. That's exciting. And I'm excited about that.
That's a great point. I never thought of it in that aspect of the economy of bringing money in and taking money out through the metaverse. I like that. That's a good point there.
I like the owning of your own NFTs. Like you own the assets at that point. That's the big difference maker right there. Like you said, you spend all this time grinding these video games, getting up to these certain levels, gaining these items, whatever it is that you're doing, progressing. And then one day a new life cycle happens and a new season happens, something like that. And all that progress is reset. And all your time is then back to grinding that same specific thing. But what if, like you said, all that stuff that you put all that hard work into and money, you're now able to take and say, you know what, I don't want this anymore. Somebody else can have it. I get a currency back to be able to sell that. And then I can go do something else. And I like that. I like that aspect of it. And I really that's where like the play to earn gaming and NFT gaming really gets me excited for. And TJ, I understand. I think we're trained to hear like the VR headset kind of thing, especially
right.
with Facebook and Meta and all that stuff. Like that's like where the future goes. But honestly, I fucking get motion sickness, dude. I don't want to do that shit. Like, I'm not trying to punch my TV and my monitor out.
What? I'm all about that. Go in a padded room to start swinging.
Yeah. So Clark, what about you? How's your feeling on that, man?
I mean, I feel like everyone's definition that is like creating one now is really just going to be some sort of open world where you run around. But it's interesting that everyone starts with land plots or like a house.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, what else can you actually do in there? And like, what will you integrate to make it so that I want to spend time on my sponge?
Yeah, come sit on my couch at my house right now. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, like you need to incentivize the world that like people are actually living in and running around to actually make it worth anything. Well, I feel like most people right now, especially for Metaverse and gaming ones, most people are buying it to flip it, not to actually use it and like utilize what it will become.
100%.
Which is really interesting to see if that transcends into like what happens.
I think the real big thing for like Web3 too, and like what a metaverse could be is the real people who are planning to be there, who are setting up shop, establishing roots early, building a business, setting their base foundation there. Those are going to be the people who succeed in the long term on those things because they have a goal, they have a vision, and like it just in real estate and other things right here, people had to get in early in order to plant those roots into a good spot in order to grow it. It just didn't become valuable overnight. With this stuff. So yes, you're going to flip that and people are going to, make some good profit along the way. But I think the long-term for this isn't just a year and it's come and gone. It's going to be years for a lot of this stuff, especially for these guys as they do. Some of this stuff hasn't even been online. Like you said, a few months. And people are expecting, the sandbox, they're expecting World of Warcraft, they're expecting GTA. There's some sort of crazy game where these people have millions of dollars, great developers, teams that have spent years of research to do this stuff. And it's like, what do you expect from these guys?
Yeah.
And I think people have false expectations of reality of what a metaverse could be or should be.
I'll put that all on the people though. Some of these projects, you look at the previews they put out, and it goes into what something both you guys said when you mentioned GTA and you said how there are these separate worlds is like, how much is there going to be able to do? Some of these videos you see a lot, they're very, the quality of the graphics are nice and they look good, but like, how much we're going to be able to interact in these? Is it going to be like these Facebook ad games that I see where they maybe have a decent art style, but it's mainly just clicking around? Like, how much am I going to really get to? And as far as myself personally, when it comes to Metaverse, it's like, I kind of want to see that all inclusive, like a verse, when you say world, I don't right now, like TJ, you mentioned this too, where it's almost like these standalone games where each one will have their own entry costs and different ones. Like, am I going to have to play each one separately?
Yeah.
I'm really looking for like, that is where the Ready Player One analogy I enjoyed, where everything was contained within its own world. And then you could visit those different areas within there. And it also just goes into like, okay, if I buy the Dogverse project and that ends up being shit and no one plays it, I can't use that anymore. But if it's like an all-inclusive world and I like my dog, I can use that within that world, that avatar and that NFT within this like Cardano world, as opposed to each little individual one that each has its own entry price.
Yeah.
Some of these projects may be thousands of beta at that point, just to get in and see what it's about. And then like going into the GTA thing, I mean, that's built already. They could, if they wanted to, I'm sure there's a lot of legality stuff with it, bring in real money because they have casinos, they have gambling, they have racing, betting, store ownership. It gets really in depth how long that game's been out now. They've gone crazy. So to do that and transition it into some sort of like, using a cryptocurrency seems like they could, it's very doable. It's very reasonable, something they could do. But then having the game on top of that, like obviously GTA has so much more to do besides just a couple financial things.
Right. The replay value. Like,
exactly.
Is it fun to be there? Like, do I even want to be there?
100%. That's going to be big. It's like if you're building something that is similar to a game, I mean, early on, I think some things will be enough of just kind of like a new hype value. Like, this is cool. I'm getting to show off my house or my property. You can come and walk around with your clay or whatever. But down the line, then, is there going to be people playing that in a month, still doing the same thing? Or is it just going to be like, remember when that first came out in the first stages and then nothing happened? So getting something like a serious real game going where that people come back and want to continue to play is going to be a big hurdle as well, I think.
Man, I don't know, man. The metaverse world just seems like, I feel like I've been hitting like a low when it comes to the word metaverse, getting oversaturated right now. I don't know about you guys though. I'm kind of in the same boat. It's like, oh, another land. It's like, okay, cool. I'm going to mint that and hopefully it flips up for a little bit and then I'm going to wait. And that's all I can do.
It's definitely a Hansel word still. It's hot right now. You buy a land plot, you're going to be doing pretty well afterwards.
So to off topic, our structured schedule, I guess we had tonight. This brings us though to a really, I guess not a hyped mint that's coming up this week over here is Cornucopias game, which kind of embodies a lot of what we just talked about over here, where these guys are building a AAA game with pretty graphics and an economy, a game played first, and so much to promise. But it's very early, man. And their land sale, the first of their land sales, is dropping this weekend, starting on Friday, June 3rd, over to Tuesday, June 7th. Clark and CardanoMan, this guy, I'm assuming obviously you guys have heard of Cornucopias game if you haven't been in this space, but what are your guys' initial thoughts on a land sale from them? Are you excited for this? Are you guys kind of sitting on the sidelines? Or are you like, I'll mint that? And what's your kind of feeling on this land sale coming up?
I am intrigued because the way they're doing it, if you have that graphic that shows exactly like the price tiering, is really interesting. To me, It feels as though this is their way maybe of weeding out people who are looking at this just as a flip, because now you're not, exactly what you're getting. There's no random like gamble with this. Like there's no chance you're going to get a large pot if you buy a small one. Like you're going to get the small one. So I'm really intrigued to see how this turns out. This is a new way of doing it. I'm not surprised because it's the direction things are going in, especially with ADA price decreasing. I'm not surprised to see these longer, like kind of more developed businesses at this point basically say, look, this is how much money USD we need to actually make this work. We can't look at it in ADA anymore. It has to be this dollar amount because our business runs on US dollars because we're an actual business, which one day that'll change and actual businesses will run on crypto, but we're not there yet. So because of that, it's interesting to see this price here. I've seen mixed reactions. I'm personally excited about Cornucopias. They seem very legitimate. They seem like they're actually building something that could be really fun and really playable and that they've thought about these things. But the price here is interesting. I'm really intrigued to see how it goes because part of me is like, damn, I wish I could get one of those epic plots, but I can't really afford to spend
$1,000.
Yeah, I just can't. So
I just think when they put it in USD, it kind of like, damn, is that really how much I'm spending? Because if it's just an ADA, right? You don't really notice it because it's ADA, right? But when you see the dollar amount, it's like, shit, am I really going to spend $1,000 on this right now?
And it's like, would I go out of my way to spend $1,000 on a normal thing? And this in loosely where I'm like, I want two of those. It's like, damn, I'd be happy to spend $1,000 on anything right now and get a good return. But if you told me I was going to spend $1,000 right now and I'm going to have to wait, I don't know, a year before I'll be able to really get the benefits of that. Like, where do where's your long-term investment really and mindset really going to be at? And are you caught up in the hype? That's the thing for me. And obviously seeing the price structure like this, they did lower this because this was originally higher. That Copious plot at one point was $1,500, in which they took feedback and actually lowered that. So that was nice to see. at least that they had some, the community. I know the community was like, well, why do you want so much of this? And okay, a AAA game, that's, for me, they need funding for that, right? I think TJ, you mentioned they were in a space the other night where they said they have funding for up to 3 years.
Yes.
The first 3 years worth of stuff. So that's good that they have that, but obviously they still have to get money. So seeing this kind of a system built in place is interesting. I think the schedule part of this as well is also an interesting choice instead of doing a lottery type system like Clay Nation did, because we've heard the devil's advocate. I think we were talking to Tao Crypto last night, and he was basically like, look, this is a terrible time for me. Like, I am not available during those time slots throughout the day. I got stuff going on. He goes, I wish I would have 24 hours to guarantee at least if I got a chance to get in. So you're not going to please everybody with a mint style. That's just an interesting way they went about doing this, I thought.
How about you, Clark? You gonna mint that, or what are you doing with this one?
Probably going to mint some of these. Yeah, I have a good amount of Kopi on Binance. I'm waiting for the bridge to come over.
Yeah.
ADA Kopi is worth a lot more than Binance Kopi.
Yep.
And people keep buying the ADA Kopi, which is funny. Wait, go up one slide on this. I think it's up one slide. No, one more. Where they're talking about the discounts. Yeah, here. Look at how they phrase this. It's like plot discount compared on price per square meter.
Yeah.
You're getting a 40% discount.
That is funny.
Plots, like,
right.
Yeah, I'm definitely buying some. I don't know about going all in. But yeah,
I don't
what
have
would you
the money
say
to go all in. I don't.
No,
That's the problem.
Well, and it goes to what you're saying, Cardano man, where I think the people that would be most upset about this is people that are, flippers. They're used to that roll of the dice. They want to spend 100 ADA and they can get maybe a small, hopefully the floor stays above that. They could get that epic, they could get that copious plot and 10x their money right away. Whereas this, you're getting exactly what you pay for, and each one's going to have different markets. Like, I also have been pretty impressed with what Cornucopias have shown us so far. So I think that copious plots could give you some nice return. How much right away, like day of mint? Unless there's just enough hype with people trying to buy in and not getting enough of them released. But it just seems like the market's going to be kind of small for those more expensive ones on this, knowing that anyone can kind of put in their bid on it as opposed to some of the smaller ones. So I think I'm just kind of there too, like a small, medium, large. I think they're going to have a larger resale secondary market right off the bat of people that didn't get in on those and are looking to buy in early still.
Well, I think too, it's interesting because you can only mint one per day. Whatever time slot you get in, you only can get the one. So it's going to be harder for people to really accumulate a lot of them to flip to offset everything.
And to kind of tie that back as far as people making multiple accounts too, right? And they've done this new minting system. The Q system obviously at first didn't work. They did the Javelin mint that didn't go the way they planned. They gave away a bunch of Javelins for free back in the day. Now they've got this minting system that actually works very well, but you have to verify an email to get in. You have to connect to Discord and you have to connect a wallet, all just to get into it. And on top of that, the cool thing, at least I appreciate, is that once you get in, it auto refreshes, you click the buy button and you sign a transaction on the front end, and then it enters you into queue. And
it gives you that old school rush. That old school rush of like, oh, did I get it? Did I get it?
Yeah, but they'll tell you and they'll keep you updated. But at least I don't need to sit by the computer anymore once I've sent it in. That's the only thing. That's why I really do like the queue system versus some of the other ones that are even out right now, where you have to wait like hours just to be by your computer. That okay, my queue's time's up. Let me go mint. So I do like this, and it's decent for the people who are the higher tiers. Obviously, the OGs, you get 4 chances at doing this in case you miss out each one of these things. So, once you get one, you're done for that day on that account that you have registered. So it's an interesting thing, and it's cool that you have a chance to choose a small, medium, large, or epic. But also sucks for people who are tied up on one of the days that they want something in that tier. So I didn't
even think about that.
Yeah, I'm out on June 4th. I cannot get a medium plot because I won't be available that day. It's just not going to happen for me. So it's interesting the way that they're doing this. But the other thing about this, like you say, for the flip for these guys, right? You get that common up to mythic rarity for these things. But what the hell is a rarity for outside of just being a bigger plot inside this game? Like, what does that even get you? They did detail that inside this roadmap this time around. Inside of, I think they tiered it as far as like being able to get in earlier into the game, being able to choose like your actual landmark and where you want to be. So I did like that they actually broke that down this time, the rarity significance. So you can choose zones, districts. You can choose like your proximity to water and nice views and things like that. So maybe that's the people that's valuable to them. Then there's a good reason to go ahead and drive a price point. But I like how they kind of started to flesh this out, because I know a lot of people had questions about, well, dude, how many of these things are they going to make? Like, are they just going to keep selling and selling to you? Is this going to become worthless at some point? So inside of this little PDF here, they've actually kind of detailed out the first 3 zones that they're going to be releasing over here. And each of them have 8,000 plots per zone. So that's 24,000 for the first 3 that they're releasing over here. So I don't know if you guys have gotten a chance to take a look at over any of this stuff over here, but they really did a good breakdown of what they got going on over here, and even explaining the free to play version of this, where if you start with a home bubble, and this is just for joining the game, and then the landowners eventually are going to be able to get airdrops for certain things, materials, like all kinds of different things for being in early. So it's unique in a sense that this is one of the first like big play to earn AAA type games that are trying this approach right now.
It is interesting that they are letting you choose the plots and actually giving you coordinates to your plots. So that is going to be an interesting concept of when you actually get in there and pick where I want to be. It's like, well, shit, I don't know anything about this, Matt. Where am I going to go? Do I pick by the water, or do I pick over here? It's just going to be interesting how people choose where they're going to go.
Yeah. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that kind of stuff? Like, do you like that approach? Do you like the randomness? Like how do you feel about that kind of route where you can actually choose kind of where you want to go?
I think it's one of those things where I don't know how I'm going to feel about it until I see how it works. And it's kind of a fear that I have with even Cornucopias, kind of every metaverse. I remember watching a video that Paul, I forget his last name. It's Paul from Pavia. It's Pavia Paul.
Yeah.
And he's like their COO. I think I've got the name right. I think it's Paul.
Is it Ross, maybe the last name? I can't remember.
If it's something else, but
that's a different guy.
Different guy. Okay. Whatever. No, I think it's whatever. Paul Manuel. I don't know.
Somebody. He's a Paul.
He's the COO.
Pavio guy.
He worked on Apex Legends. He worked on, I think, on a side company that scaled the game. And I watched this clip from the people who created Apex Legends, and they talked about that you basically have 30 seconds to a minute to capture people's interest. Like, their first impression will determine whether they keep playing the game or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that they basically knew that going into it and made sure that when they launched, everything worked perfectly, because people load up the game and it crashes. They just might not load it up again. They're going to be pissed, and they're going to say, oh, this is a shit game, I'm not playing it. If they get into the loading screen and then something lags and it doesn't work, their first impression is not going to be good. And with something like this, where so many people have spent so much money on assets within a game that hasn't even come out yet, and no one has any idea how this is actually going to play, or whether it's going to be what we all talked about earlier. Like, is this actually an environment we want to spend time in? Like, because if it's not, then people are going to walk away and the value of things are going to go down. So I'm scared. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen with the metaverses. And with, randomly choosing your plot, or not randomly, you're going to be able to kind of select it. I don't know how everyone's going to click at one time, and you hope that
depending on what tier you're
I get
in,
flashbacks and metadams from that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, I don't know. We'll see how it works and how they do it, and scary times.
It is. Well, interesting enough, if you are a big fan of this game and wanting to get in early, this is your ticket to do that too, because the more rare your land plot, that kind of determines the order in which you get to test the game itself. So having one of those rare ones actually get you, into that game. So people may be willing to pay for that. One thing, like too, I appreciate the actual like zones and what they're trying to, they are pushing this like brand, like build your brand inside of this world right here, whether it be PvP, esports, all kinds of different experiences inside this place. So that is the unique aspect that they're able to pull this off. I mean, the sky's the limit for what you could do inside these places, because if you do think about a AAA game and I could go advertise my business inside this game and people can go visit it. And if you're big on YouTube or whatever it may be, wherever you're at, and you're like, hey, just go check me out in Cornucopias. It's like, oh, I can go walk over to you and see your stuff. Like, well, that's a game changer now and for where things are going. So it's a cool concept. They have really good, obviously, design. The Unreal Engine 5 looks amazing for this. Like they have an amazing job. It's just a matter of this is the first one out of this land sale. I forget what slide it is. They actually show you the breakdown of what the roadmap is right here, where they tell you that, these first 3 ones, there's going to be 24,000 of these things for these different 3 zones, Solace, Esperanza, and Fortune. And then outside of that, later down the road, there's going to be 9 additional zones for an additional 72,000 plots. And that's coming sometime inside of 2024. So automatically right there, you got, what is that, 96,000 of these things right off the rip.
That's crazy.
So, which isn't even high, because if you got a big, millions of people play this game, that's not even really big at all. And it's in the large scale of it. So I just had to shout this out because it's an interesting one where people are now like, you take that dollar value and it kind of hits you in the face of like, damn, I got to spend $1,000 to get this piece of land right now. Like, that's a lot of money. And there's other metaverses that are out there kind of doing the same now, where they're giving you dollar values instead of ADA prices right now. So you definitely got to, it makes you choose, it makes that decision a little bit harder, I guess, for everybody out there.
Yeah. And I will say, like, from just looking at this from kind of like a critical perspective, I don't even know if that's the right fucking word to use, but like, if you think about it, Decentraland and Sandbox were some of the first to market. And a lot of these projects are, and even people like from the consumer side, they're looking at that as kind of an expectation or a roadmap to follow. Like, this is what happened. This is kind of the preconceived idea and notion of how these things are going to work. We've seen it with Decentraland. We've seen it with Sandbox. We know that these plots of land go up in value. We know that people actually spend time in these games. But from a game development standpoint, what's cool is that you do have games like Decentraland and Sandbox, and you can kind of look at them and say, what did these guys do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
From the outside, you think they did everything right because people are in them. But if you're really good at game development and you're a good CEO, you're going to look at them and you're going to say, how can we make this even better? So right. I would actually be surprised to see some of these metaverses nail it, because they have something they can look at and basically be like, this is how they did it. It worked, but can we do it better and improve on all of these things that they can't, because their engine is their engine. So right. I have faith. We'll see. But I have faith in the Cornucopias dudes. They just seem like they know what they're doing. They're
very, very professional. I'll give them that. They've set a very good professional. They do the podcast every week, the Kobe Watch, all that stuff.
The new site wiki, and the new minting style with the receipts and everything like that is fantastic.
So if they feel professional, right? Like they're mm-hmm. transparent about who they are, what they're building right now. And I think people, if you're in that NFT mindset of like, yo, you're asking me for how much, I'm just trying to flip and mint this. This may not be for you, for what you're building, because these guys' plan isn't just hey, in a year from now, you're going to be able to play this game. It's going to be like, yo, this goes over like a 10-year period that this world is going to evolve. So I feel like it makes this is just different. It's just the start. And it's kind of crazy that they're building right now in the early days of Cardano, before all the big, before Hydra, before a lot of different things come online for this thing. And I can only imagine as Cardano grows and gets more efficient, how that helps the game development too, for these guys on that side. So if everything goes well, they may be in a perfect storm to position themselves to be like a very successful project right now. And the people who invested in early could really pay off. It's just, you never know, but it's definitely one of the ones where I've got an eye on it, and I definitely would like to be a part of it. How involved I am, just depends on, the more research that you continue to do.
100%.
The more I think about it, that there's only 240 Copias plots.
Yeah.
Kind of really makes me want to buy one.
Right. That's just the degen coming out in you though, dude. You're like, I think it's a no-brainer. Only
240. Like, how many sales of bubble jets of like the legendaries and mythics have been thousands and thousands? Like,
what about the OG ones too? The OG bubble jets, man. Those things go for thousands and thousands of ADA right now. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We just joked about this last time we were on stream there while it was still there. It's the Pride Rock right there. Does that just remind you of Lion King? On the screen. I don't know.
What are you going to do to get us a Copias?
Bro, you got to get the Copias, right?
What is June 7th? What day of the week is that?
That's Tuesday.
I'm bringing my laptop to work. What do you mean? I'm camping out on the
Are they not all like pre-reserved already at this point for OG?
No, 240. So you everybody, they just start in tier 1. so they have one step like early from you guys. Like I can only imagine like you guys are going to need to be on like fiber internet, like something crazy, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get in that quick. Have your clipboard with the copy paste of your password already ready to go, like all that stuff. Because it's going to be crazy. I can only imagine getting into that. So
I'll be rooting for you.
Yeah, I won't be on that one right there with you guys, but yeah, shout out to Cornucopias for what they're doing. I know it's definitely ambitious. It's cool to see, man. These guys very professional, and they're establishing themselves as one of the metaverses to keep an eye on for sure, inside the space, or what that is. Or I just like it because I'm a gamer too, so it's cool to see a game kind of doing everything that we're talking about for where a lot of these things in the future are going to go.
We're retired gamers now, Tommy. Come on now.
Yeah, right.
Definitely retired. No, you're not retirement. He didn't say retired. He said we're tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another topic over here, guys, that obviously we're known for inside the space here is Yummi Universe. We've talked this all the time. We met with the founders, talked to the devs. You know, we're big fans of what they're doing. But the CNFT community this past week is kind of opened their eyes to Yummi as well, man. And they've had a crazy run the last few days over here. Have you guys? I'm sure if you've been in the space, obviously you've seen what they've got going on. But what are your guys' initial impressions of what are you guys in Yummi? If not, what do you guys your feeling on this, or what is your perspective for what these guys are doing?
Adios. See you later. Thanks for coming on, guys.
No yummies on our end.
Damn. Okay.
Well, to be fair, we minted a Yummi way back when, and I know a lot of people were unable to mint them, and I was, we took not advantage of that, but we looked at that and we were like, all right, everyone wanted a Yummi, we got one, no one else was able to get one, and we gave it away. And it was like the biggest giveaway we ever did. CardanoMan has not done a giveaway in a very, very, very long time.
Wow. Yeah.
And maybe we should do another one soon. We kind of just completely stopped doing that. It got to a point where I was like, we are not building the right follower base. If we're doing this, I think we did like 7 total, and we were at like 3,000 or 4,000 followers. And I tweeted something and it got like not a lot of engagement. And I was like, this makes no sense. And I realized, well, it kind of does make sense because we've done a fair amount of giveaways. So what's the deal with these followers? So at like 3 or 4K when CardanoMan was there, we stopped doing giveaways like all together pretty much. Yeah. And tried to build our follower base up organically. But Yummi was the best and biggest giveaway we did. We gave it away, and we didn't buy back in. Probably stupid for doing that. They obviously have built an amazing brand, and their NFTs are cute and awesome. And I think everything they're doing is going to be probably pretty great, because that's how they've been the whole time. They kind of have been just grinding, almost quietly, it feels like. And it's funny because about 2 weeks ago, Clark and I did an exercise looking on OpenCNFT, literally thinking like, what is the next project that's going to go to 1,000 floor? Look at the volumes. Yummi was sitting at around 6 million total volume for ADA. And if you look at the other projects in that range, pending what they are, you'll realize that it kind of was sitting as this weird outlier. So you've got Dead Pixels, Ape Society, Chilled Kongs, all the Boss Cat stuff, Claymates, Pavia doesn't count, but Space Buds, they're all at 1,000 floor, and they're all sitting at 10 mil volume. Then you've got projects in the middle that are around 6-7 million volume. They're all sitting at around somewhere between 1 and 500 ADA floor. And then you've got Yummi, which was sitting at a 500 ADA floor at 7 million volume. And it kind of felt like it was in this middle range that it had more volume than the projects that had similar floors to it. Right. So I was kind of like, yo, this number feels a little weird. This looks like it's primed and ready to take off based on those numbers. And I said to Clark, we should buy a bunch. And
we didn't pull the trigger. But I mean, it was inevitable also because the amount listed on secondary, plus their staking mechanism. I think more and more over the next few weeks and months, we're going to see these OG projects that have stood the test of time so far, that the holders love it, the communities love it, and then just people aren't going to sell. And the floors are just going to move up. It's
it creates that FOMO, like that demand for people wanting to get in. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to hear because, like, obviously we've been involved with it. We've been following it for all these months, and I get it. Like, we've been the same way for like Chill Kongs, like where we've been on the outside looking in. I've minted, those in the beginning, sold them off, and never looked away. And those things are doing really well right now. So I don't know too much about what's going on there. So from your guys' perspective, hearing that, it's interesting too, because it's like you guys are looking at the analytics. You're probably way more advanced than most people over there about how they evaluate projects, and what they're looking for to pump out there. But that's good information for you guys, where you guys are actually studying that stuff and then can actually see the results of that. Where us inside of there, we're like, we know these release dates and these roadmaps are about to hit. This is going to probably take this off. But one thing that we could not have predicted with these guys was the partnerships that they had lined up out here. These guys have done, like you said, that quiet grinding. I can only imagine who they've been talking to and what they've been setting up. But it felt like every day they had a new partnership for this Yummi token that they've been announcing. And today, the newest one that they've talked about was with Artano, where you can actually utilize Yummi to buy, sell, and auction with the Yummi coin on Artano's platform, which is actually insane. And recently we saw the pet bot mint, which we've covered earlier in the week with those guys, where you're able to mint with actual Yummi coin. To get a thing over there. You can give a CNFT Predator membership with CNFT Jungle with Yummi. You can pay for that. You have trading fees and things like that you can use for trading tent with Yummi. They're putting so much out there in the works for this stuff, and the game hasn't come out. The card packs haven't come out there yet. But they're giving utility to the coin itself, and we kind of saw that price skyrocket in the last about week over here. And then there was some catalyst events that happened as well. With big whales inside the community that bought that. Most specifically was Arctic Alpha over there. He was one of the ones that really tipped the scale. But yeah, man, it just feels like these guys have definitely put on the grind. We've talked about them a bunch, and outside of just the artwork, like you said, they're building a brand. And even here, like drip drops, right? You're going to be able to claim if you stake with their stake pool Yummi, you're going to be able to claim for more tokens here coming up as well. So they're taking advantage of like almost every single platform in the space. And I don't know if it says something to me, but it definitely does. Is like, hey, I can mint your project with Yummi. Like, that's the power of this coin right now, that they're actually giving that utility right there. That's a pretty big statement in my eyes. You don't see it.
It was pretty big. It was pretty cool seeing that.
It's just not a catchphrase in a project. It's not like, oh, we're going to have a token. No, they're actually giving you utility for it, it's great to see that in a project now.
It's rare.
Yeah,
exactly.
Rare.
They're the first ones doing it, it feels like, in a sense of outside of like, because everybody who releases these tokens nowadays, obviously that token's to fund their ecosystem, to build their brand, build the game, build something inside their universe. But these guys have now gone outside of that and stepped outside of their little Yummi universe, no pun intended on this, and getting into other projects and giving it value right now. So just to see that kind of community, like, just really get engaged with it. You can mint other projects. They've now done 2 mints with it, with, I think it's Sketchies, and now Petbot is the second one. And I can imagine that there's going to be more. But it's been crazy, man. And the crazy part about this too is the secondary. They've added liquidity, and they have you can pair it up right now, and you can actually earn a decent amount of APR. I think it was like anywhere from 300 up to, I saw like something crazy up to like 1,000% at one point over on Sunday Swap, because you had to lock it in for 30 days. But this price point for this thing dropped over in the last week. It's shot. You can see it right here, man. Like the candle for this thing just shot up, man.
Check out Tommy's handle real quick. Jake Paul.
Wow. Yeah, you can get on Jake Paul over there. If he ever wants to buy my handle, dude, I'll extort him.
Good job.
Yeah. Do you guys notice it? Were you guys ever playing around? Because I always thought about, outside of Cardano, like playing with the back to the Binance thing of like playing with those coins, maybe getting into some of the Metaverse plays out here for like the Society token for H Society, Yummi Universe, Rad token for Cardania, maybe like you said, Pavia, all those different ones. That you're looking for. Like, this was one of the ones on my list, but now seeing this jump, hey, dude, people got paid off pretty well. Seeing this, it's been, so if you were a holder of this project, I mean, they give you an automatic value right off the bat, which is crazy to see.
It's been a while too. I mean, I know that was something we talked about early in the year. We kind of hadn't heard much from Yummi. And then, talking to the team over there and stuff, they're like, this is going to be the year of the Yummi. Like, pay attention. We got some things coming up here. And it's been nonstop since then, pretty much.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And people are, like you said, diamond handing that to a point where it feels like dead pixels, right? Like, you try to get a pixel right now, bro, good luck. there's almost nothing available right now in that ecosystem because everybody has them staked currently. And the same thing's starting to happen to these guys right now, where the 63% of the 10Ks are staked right now, and 57, almost 58% of these are staked on the seasonals. So that supply keeps shrinking more and more each day. So
I like the pizza order counter there.
Yeah, did you guys see that someone actually ordered a pizza with Yummi?
Domino's, yeah.
The throwback to Bitcoin on that back in the day. They did a nice little thing for that. So yeah, my advice to anybody new trying to get into Yummi, because if you get out price, I mean the floor, like you said, is about 1,000 ADA now for one of those 10Ks. The best way people I recommend is going over to CNFT Jungle. They do give you the amount of Yummi that one of those Narus earn on that website. And it's not always based on rarity rankings either. Like you can have a higher ranked one and earn less Yummi over that staking period. So go over there, and maybe, like I always tell everybody now, if you want to spend 1,000 ADA, go buy one of each of those seasons, and the summer one's still to release here. That's the last one out of the 4. But buy one of those seasons, and if you hold one from each 4 for 1,000 ADA, it costs you to get those, you're earning 4x rewards throughout the entire year. Versus buying a OG Naru that earns 4,000 Yummi, that might cost you like 2,000 plus ADA right now to get that. So that's my little bit of like alpha play for anybody looking to get into Yummi. Eventually get to 10Ks because they're always going to tie back to that. But that's kind of where my mindset is with these, if you guys aren't in there.
Definitely something to look at for sure. I know you've been even still sneaking some in, Tommy. You're
always
buying, you're getting ready for your summer drop here, the burn.
My goal is always to hold 10 of each season. So that way I'm earning 4x on those 10 right now. So I got all my stuff staked in here, and we've shown this multiple times throughout the week of just how the staking website works, where you can actually bring these things in from your wallet. These are all currently staked away in their own smart contract that are earning that Yummi token already. And then they come back to your wallet whenever that pay period is back. And it's either 3, 5, or 7 weeks that you can lock these things up for. So showing this off, you can kind of see what you have staked inside your wallet, where whatever Narus you own. And then you can also choose the length of period to stake these things. So yeah, these are just showing off the values change depending on how many weeks you select, and it shows you how many Narus or how much Yummi you're earning. So it's a very, very interesting system. They definitely thought it out, even to the point there when you sign this transaction and stake them, it automatically mints the amount of Yummi that you're going to earn during that staking period with it, so that when it goes back to send it in the smart contract, they don't clog up the blockchain with a bunch of transactions on payout day. So they've definitely thought ahead on a lot of different things. So that gives me confidence maybe to say that the game, they're taking the right precautions and steps to launch that properly. So I still think you're early. If you haven't got in yet, I just highly recommend people take a look at this.
Not financial advice, though.
Not financial advice. Dude, I mean, we're always known, I guess. Yeah, you call us like, hey, you guys are Yummi maxis. It's like, I guess we are, man, at this point, and I'm okay with that inside the space. I think it's always just a testament to people. Oh, let's go. Here, I thought that was Clark that
got to flex the shirt.
Like, how'd you get one of these?
It's just one of those things we got in that time. Clay and Yummi were the 2 big projects at that time, and have, fortunately been ones that have withstood, all the new, Metaverse and projects and tokens and stuff, and have adapted to the space. So it's fun having been in so early and been a fan, like genuine fans early on, not just kind of looking to make a quick flip. Something we believed in, Clay as well early on, and seeing them continue to succeed has been awesome.
Yeah, it's
I do have this though, the Clay Nation.
There you go. Okay, nice, dude.
I need this shirt, man. I got the hoodie.
I'm still waiting for my Seafellas deck,
man. Are you? Yeah, I got the Sweet Fellas deck.
I'm waiting for it to come in. Yeah,
I do. I had to shut it off there on a Yummi second. I still got my little sticker from our little thing there. I don't know where to put it. Just hanging out.
Man, it's painful. It's painful looking at all this Yummi stuff, because we gave away a red paper crown Yummi, and I think the floor is like, what? It's fucking painful.
Yeah, dude. There's so many of those projects where you do that. Like I sold my chilled Kongs back when they were like 300 or 200 and something like that. I've sold 2 Clays at 100 and 300 ADA, so I know the pain of like looking back at that. So it hurts, man. But yeah, these guys, they're even teasing like these new card packs and things like that. Like they got the art, they got the brand. And apparently they got the tech to back it up. So they feel like a force to be reckoned with. And I always akin these guys to like the Pokemon meets like Axie Infinity kind of vibe to this. I could see them over surpassing though with the brand if they're really looking to build like a brand with what they got. Like they went to London Comic-Con this past weekend, and people who had no idea about NFTs or blockchain or any of that stuff, they're just like, I like you guys because of what that in real looks like. So if they can ride that train and really build into that, they got a chance to even just open the world to kind of blockchain and Cardano. It's cool that they're building here too.
100%.
So shout out to those guys. Shout out to the brand. We're always big Yummies fans, but anytime we get a chance to talk about it on the podcast, we're going to do it. So one thing wanted to talk about this week, because we just got updated recent news on this, is Adanauts.
Yes, let's go, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, and checking while we're doing this.
Yo, guys, you got your knot over here? Friday, June 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern, reveals will start. And I did not get a chance to listen to the space because we were getting ready to kick this off prior to recording tonight on Wednesday. So I'm not sure of all the details, but guys, we officially get the date, man. These things have been sitting there for almost 2 weeks. It's been at least 2 weeks now with these things.
Yeah.
How do you guys got your knot?
Yeah, I got a couple. I definitely sold a few off for low ROI, but yeah, I still have a few.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you. I think I minted 8 and I hold 5 still. So I took a little bit of profit on the way up. What about
it's
you?
Hard not to with those floor prices, even unrevealed. It's crazy.
No, we definitely do have knots, and I'm a big fan of Cardano Robin.
Yes.
We met in Miami feels like a year ago, but I think it was only like 4 months ago. I got together with him and Cinnabon and Fett and a bunch of people, Rakindo, like a bunch of people from the community. And he was just such a nice quality guy, and he's been committed to Cardano from the beginning. So I'm just happy to support him. To be honest, like that's what I'll say. I'm just really happy to support Robin and
also Bourbon.
He does.
Oh, Bourbon as well.
Yeah.
Robin was one of the ones when I was definitely one of those OGs. It felt like when I was getting into the space too, I always followed what he had going on. I love the stamps and stuff like that. So to see him become, like they said, that marketing, that team leader for Bourbon and we got a chance to interview Bourbon when we did an Adanauts segment with him. And to hear his journey from where he started with Lovelace and him getting kind of picked up as a clay artist to his journey of, the project kind of not launching the way he wanted to being handed over to him redoing everything and finally getting here with a bunch of OG support and then people picking up on that hype. And now this thing's sitting, it's one of the most hyped projects right now. Everybody's waiting for. It's really cool to see that for such a good guy and good team that is behind there. Because they're all OGs over inside this space. Even the Adanauts Discord, man, that was the reason I minted a Chill Kong back then, because I popped in after we recorded one night and they're like, go mint these right now inside that Discord. So they're definitely a team of good guys over there. And I like Robin as well. I haven't got a chance to talk to him yet.
There's a lot of people that have been in the space for a long time too. Just the project's been around. It's gone through so many different stages now, and what it started out as. So it's kind of got that behind it too, that pedigree with so many big names, just even in the Discord because of how long they've been around. So it's cool to finally see it come to fruition here. And they didn't announce how they're deciding the release structure. They did say the third was when the
third at 6 p.m.
They didn't say anything as far as like ranking or serial number. I guess there's no ranking. We don't know yet. So
yeah.
I wish I knew if it was a serial
thing.
Yeah. Oh, everybody seems to be on the hype train right now, and I love that he's doing like his spaces now on these Wednesday nights, just chilling. The weed, whiskey, and I forget what the third one is, but yeah, dude, these guys are just building, and they've been doing this organically. That's the big thing that I love about Bourbon and the team over there is just that, there never was like the big shill train for these guys. They did their interviews and stuff, but they've always been like OGs inside his space and have never been toting it in your face. It's like, come mint this. It's just like, he wants the right group of people. It's the same way, like you mentioned earlier, CardanoMan, when you guys like give away, you attract the wrong audience. Well, he's attracted his audience that he wants to be part of this, because this isn't just another, people are going to flip this, obviously. But this is also meant to be like a story-driven, like a community NFT, where you'll eventually evolve your profile pic or your character over time as they travel throughout this story that the community is creating. Right
well,
now.
He's given utility to some of like his older stuff too, like the prototypes and the serums and stuff. He has like I don't know. I think it's a roadmap. I'm going to call it a roadmap. I don't remember what it's called specifically, but you can trade those in for certain items. So he's given utility to all like the old stuff that he's done.
He's even live on a space right now, right, Tommy?
He was. They did their space. I don't know if they wrapped it up now.
Let's just tune in. We'll just let that play. We can just, let that finish out the rest of the show here. We can all take the night off, guys.
Right. Oh, and they got powered by the Cyber Pickle team. They had a really good, easy minting process, and it was an organic sale too. It sold out, but it was over the course of a few hours, and it wasn't stressful, man. And I love that. Where it was like, all right, I'm gonna get another one. I'm gonna get another one, but you didn't know what you were getting, and I liked that. That works for his minting style. But did you guys appreciate that mint style over there? For me, that was a risk you take by, you either tank the project or the project builds hype and anticipation.
You mean with the reveals, their choice to make. At first, I don't like it still because I want my NFT now. I don't like waiting, but it's worth being patient. Like you said, it's worked out great for them, kind of building that excitement and hype. From my understanding, you guys probably have a little more familiarity with this coming from Ethereum, because that's not where we started. I understand a lot more projects kind of do that reveal style after mint. Was that even when you guys were in there? Were they a lot of projects still doing that?
Yes, some of them were. And what I will say is I wouldn't be surprised to see the price fall a good amount when they reveal everything. And that's normal.
Yeah, of course. They'll correct a bit. Yeah, absolutely.
Because right now it's all in the excitement and the hype that's building a lot of this. So 100% seeing that correction.
I'm just trying to figure out why TJ sent me this announcement thing over here. I'm clicking it.
In their case, it worked out perfectly. Just because the way the slow mint, Arctic Alpha did a fantastic thread on why the project will succeed is because it didn't have any hype. Everyone who minted it was like, I'm buying this because I want it, because it took 6 hours or whatever to sell out. And you didn't even know what you pulled.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I was too much of a coward to sell because I saw it, obviously my value has gone up clearly. Exactly. That's my mindset. But shit, I'm still the one.
It's a boat.
Because I'm the person that's going to look. I'm going to look to see, okay, what was it? Oh, shit, that's what it was. I know. I would. Though.
No, I'd have to. There's no way I could. There's no way if I could.
The problem is I've sold a couple of them just to take profit. And of course, those are going to be the legendary ones that I go back to look at the serial number. I'm like, damn it, dude. Why did I get rid of that one? But
if you're lucky, you kept it.
Maybe, but Cardano, man, I agree with you too, because even if the project does very well, and for the rare trait ones, they do sell pretty well over value where they're at. There's obviously going to be the floor ones too, where people don't want those. People are going to dump those. I could see what that hype will die down a little bit. I can't imagine. I'm sure over time it can do that. And it's interesting to me because I always heard what he was saying when we told about hey, the story's doing this. Each one of these Adanauts have a different was it a class or a type, some sort of type where they're like a medic or something along those lines, where they have different types of Adanauts, and each Adanaut plays a certain role inside the story, where there may be a Adanaut that's on the secondary market that gets an airdrop for something and it incentivizes somebody that if they aren't holding it and they're trying to sell it, maybe they want to keep it, or maybe somebody wants to go snipe that right now. So he can even actually, target certain traits where you can really control, the actual collection by doing things like that. So I think that's interesting. But I think you got a loyal enough fan base here, organic growth to sustain for this project. And if they're able to execute the story very well, the community responds to it. And, those different resources you'll be able to do to start to transform the actual thing.
Compounds and the genesis, the antidotes. Yeah.
And the radioactive he teased on our thing, man, the sky's the limit for this project. It's just cool to see the organic growth. And I think he said this is the only last collection he's doing. Other than that, he's going to maybe do some commissions and stuff. But for right now, this is it. He's put his heart and soul into this project. So, and it shows. It's so well done, man. So shout out to Bourbon.
I fucking love it. And I love to see artists making real good money from this stuff. And I'm scared because I think the NFT community as a whole is trending away from that. And that's why you see, maybe I'm wrong, but I think if you talk to the Clays when they launched the original collection, and if you talk to Yummi when they launched the original collection, I don't think either of them thought that they would be building a game or a metaverse. It was what they had to do to maintain relevance and make sure that the value of their NFTs continue to go up, because everyone in the community looked and they said, all right, I got these things. Now what can we do with them? People are asking that question more and more. And now you see Metaverse projects selling out. And I'm scared that the space that started out as let's reward artists, finally, these digital artists and artists can make a real living. Now it's like, well, no, an artist cannot build a fucking metaverse.
Yep.
So I'm growing a little scared. So I'm super happy to see something like this, where it's like just pure artistry and creativity and just thoughtfulness in terms of every little detail. And you talk about the serums and mutations, like that's all just different forms of creativity and artistry. None of that is like,
I planned this, probably at first. Everybody had to adapt. And I think what you're saying too, because I talked about, I think I spoke to Lena, like the one few times that I did over in a space. I asked her that.
You had to ask that question. Exactly.
I said, did you guys, when you started this out, like, did you ever envision you guys having a world where you had a music festival, a metaverse? Was this ever on the plans, or did you ever think about this, or was this something that evolved over time based on community demand to create the project? And she's like, yeah, like this is something that, we never planned on. It kind of came about and we had to think about it. We're glad that we're doing it, but this was never the original intention. It was always, it always centered around the artwork. It's cool that they're able to do that though now, because they're funded enough to be able to do that. And shout out to guys like Clays and stuff like that, who are in the early stages where they weren't getting those royalties in the early days, man. They were on CNFT.io and they were grinding. And, now all the new projects that are very popular, man, you guys got it good over there, and they kind of paved the way. A lot of people forget about those kind of things in the early days. So shout out to Clays for that. And I know, I know we had this on the topic list. Did you guys see that that Clay allocation token that's happening in June this month? They voted on how that is going to actually work. So if you hold the Clay Nation, one of the rarer colors, I guess, like the blues, the reds, the pumpkins, the greens, those are going to have a higher allocation that they vote. It was like 26 votes in between? It was very split. So close. I was surprised because it was very against when I first saw it happen. And they had a rally kind of shoot to the top. It was interesting to see, so obviously the rarer the holders, they wanted more of that clay to kind of be distributed. And then the other interesting thing was like the rare traits, like the horse heads, the headless ones, wings and things like that. They do not get an advantage. I was surprised to see that difference. Did you guys catch up at all on that?
Clark,
I mean, it makes sense for like the color, the green and the blues to get more. And I feel like the reward of having wings and a horse head is that when you do want to sell, you can
exactly
right 10,000 more ADA than anyone else.
That's a good take. I didn't think about it like that. I was thinking about it. I'm like, damn, I have a wing right now. I wish my thing's rare already. I should get rewarded even more.
It's like, chill out. Yeah. Like you said, you get 10,000 more than everyone else. Calm down.
Yeah.
Don't be greedy.
I think it's scary, because you're talking about collections that really, when it comes to the rarity and the value, determined based on, what's rare and what's not. It's statistics. It's also just cosmetic based. It's like what you get. There was never really anything more to it. Now you're adding more to it. And that's a scary thing to do. Because now people are looking at these rare traits and they see more than just, oh, well, there's less of these. It's actually like, oh, by buying this, I'm going to get more opportunity than the person next to me. And that's a whole can of worms you're opening up. So I think I didn't vote, and I should have, but I think I probably would have voted against it. Just because I think I would have. I think if you're a member of a community and you own one of these NFTs, I don't know that because you own something that's more rare or minted something that's more rare, just pure luck, you're now like getting more from this project than the person next to you.
100%.
It didn't happen to me.
I agree with you on the minting aspect of it. But and the devil's advocate to that is the people that paid up to get one of the rare ones, like a blue or something like that, and foregone the floor of all the rare ones. Hey, I paid a lot more ADA to get this. I'd like to be rewarded and more by holding it. I only hold one, but that one has this much weight to it. So
well, to even comment what you guys are saying, I'm looking at the last 12 hours or 13 hours of sales for Good Charlotte. There is like 6 or 7 reds that just got sold and bought today, a few orange, a pumpkin head. So people really took that and ran with it, and they went in the secondary and they bought all those colors just for that allocation now.
It's interesting, right? And it's like you said, it could be a slippery slope in some aspects because they did turn that over to the community's hands, right? And the community, like I said, when I first saw it, the against was so much higher than the for. And then I just assumed, and I went away from when I was out of town this weekend, and I came back, and to see it break back up, I didn't see the conversation that happened in between all that. But obviously there's been a lot of chatter inside the Clay Discord over there about that right now. So interesting enough, but I'm still curious, like you said, for all these things that are coming online now, like the Yummi token, if you got allocated that, same thing with Pavia back in the day, if you got that initial airdrop for the lands, if you would have sold right away on that hype, you made some good ADA. Same thing with Yummi. If you sold right away on some of the hype now, you made some good ADA. I'm curious to see how Clay is going to happen when that token comes out. Is it going to be worth getting rid of it somewhere right away? How valuable is it going to be? That's an interesting discussion as well. But
I think it'll be similar to what we're seeing. Sorry, I had a hold of yawn in there. I just think we're so early right now, and not picking on Clay or Yummi specifically. I just think that every project is almost at a point where they kind of have to roll the dice. Like, we have to have a token come out. Why not? We're going to give ourselves a percentage that we're going to allocate some to ourselves. And if this thing takes off, it's pretty much free money for our team. Because right now we're not making any more money past our original 10K drop, besides, some little bit rolling in on some royalties. And especially if they have actual real plans that they're trying to follow through, they got to get something going for funding and give themselves some sort of paycheck to continue, like, for the amount of time and work they put in.
Yeah.
And then that is one thing I'll say. We were talking about Clay, like, whether this was ever their original plan. A lot of these words weren't even being thrown around on the Cardano side, especially. So it's something they really had to roll with. I think, being fortunate enough to talk to David over there at Yummi, it almost seems like, he's so into Yummi and just was so excited to make a project that was similar to something like Pokemon that he was into when he was younger and those type of shows, that getting this kind of response and this kind of initial funding and community going, I think he probably already always had in the back of his mind wanting to be able to do that game. I don't know if he ever thought it was a reality doing just some NFT, Naru profile pictures. But now I think he's more than just like, oh, this is fantastic. This is what I've really always wanted to do. I just didn't know if that was a real thing. So it's really cool to see that and see how much he's just gets so excited about his own project. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it's dope too to see, because we were talking in the Clays where you go, that token could fund your team. Like, think about it. You have all these people like moderators too, and people that have been there since the beginning, helping you build the brand. But hey, man, I got a 9 to 5. I can't keep up with this. They fund this token out there and they allocate it to some of the team members out there. And then it does shoot up. And, that's a way to pay back those people who are like, hey, I need you full time. Here's my way of doing that for you guys to fund, like, help build this team up. And I think we even saw that over, and I was looking in Clay's Discord today. Was Lazel's Clay in there? She quit her 9 to 5 and she's a full time inside.
I saw that. That's really cool.
So congrats to her as well, man. It's amazing to see that people's lives are changing from starting as a mod inside of this project that you believed in to actually now working with them and being brought into that ecosystem. So that is an interesting take for people who do these coin releases over there. It's a good way to pay them back, like you said. I don't know. It's a cool, you're going to see these big name projects, especially the OGs, and like you said, that's have had the time to build, come online right now, because those are the ones that I've been focusing on in the long term. And again, these newer ones, this next generation, when it comes towards the end of summer, you're going to see some of those bigger ones, probably like Chilled Kongs, maybe even Bosscat, and some of those guys that have now had time to build and kind of push out their next phase. So it'll be interesting to see. But shout out to Clays and them over there. It's going to be interesting conversation. I wanted a quick touch on this because we talked about it earlier, TJ. Is this as far as reveal statuses and marketing go for building projects? Have you guys seen? I know TJ has, but this Mallard order over here, these ducks.
Do you have an invitation?
I do. Yes.
You lucky bastard.
Right? Dude, I was liking so much shit. I just liked their marketing. I really did. It was very mysterious. I still like the way they're marketing everything. It just really drew me in. And I was sold. The profile pictures, they look great to me. I'm a big fan.
So these things too, man, like you had to like interact with these guys, right? Like that was the big thing for them. It was this ominous, like just Discord or the website was just like, you'll soon see what's happening here. And there was nothing other than that. They hadn't even released the Discord. Now they're doing them in like 30-minute like intervals or something along those lines. They're up to like 6,000-7,000 people inside the Discord now. And they have like you have to progress through like these trials, and 2 out of 3 of these people, if you didn't get that, they're going 500 of those invitation letters. If you didn't get one of those, you have to prove your worth to be able to get whitelisted for this thing. And people are eating it up right now. Like they are like buying into this hype. And obviously you can see the artwork right there. And it looks good. It looks clean. They got a cool concept, but it's like whoever's doing their marketing right now for these guys, they're building hype, they're building engagement, they're building something. It's an interesting way, in my mind, of this next evolution of how to build hype for an NFT project. And we don't even know what the hell is really going on yet. That's the craziest part about this. What about you, Cardano, man? What are your thoughts on this project, if you have any?
I think anything that you can do to make yourself stand out as a project, you need to do. And I think they've clearly done that with their process. Mm-hmm. I personally don't have the time to do all these little tasks and prove my worth. But for people who do, fuck yeah. You know,
it paid off though for people who did, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's the crazy. TJ, do we know what the floor is for those Mallard things right now?
I was just about to check.
It was like 1,300 earlier today.
1,390.
1,390, man. One sold for 2,000.
2,000. Two of them went to the same person.
Didn't CNFT BTC was the one.
Yeah, he bought both of them.
Yeah, he got in. Yes. So can you imagine getting a free drop and selling it for 2,008? Like that's right there. It's just engagement alone. Like, you know, it's crazy to see that next evolution, because I don't know. Maybe maybe these things come out and they're just the craziest thing, and the floor is sitting over that. And maybe it comes out and, you know, people like it, and it chills for a while at a decent floor price. But there's going to be 6,500 of these things, as from what we understand. And TJ's got the level 2 inside the Discord. I do like the fact that you have to kind of level up inside the Discord to gain like access into certain things. It's a cool, fun way to like play interaction. But like you said, CardanoMan, if you're too busy, you got other things going on, like it's just not going to work for you. You're going to have to be kind of just, you know, maybe I'll mint some in public kind of thing.
Yeah, if I didn't have a letter, I couldn't do the grinding, because the only grinding we ever did was Happy Hoppers, and that was months ago. That was well worth it.
Yeah, I was just saying fun doing that though. Too.
It was enjoyable.
You just were having a good time doing it, messing around, having a laugh in the chat. It wasn't like I don't want to sit here and do this for 5 hours.
Well, I think it was only level 5 or something too, so it was very obtainable. It wasn't like a level 20 or 30, something ridiculous where I gotta quit my job to get in there and start grinding away.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, right? Like these guys, they say there's no grind either, right? They say they'll notice you, which is very weird.
Yep.
TJ, didn't they? Like they
sent to you, TJ. They didn't have. Yeah, they just sent it to you.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah, because shout out to Words again about this. He brought it to our attention. I just fell in love with the project, and I interacted. I liked. Look at that. That's right there. The Ducks, Mighty Ducks, throwing it up right there for them. But no, it drew me in. We talked about a live stream one time, and Tommy cracked a couple jokes, and they were like, "Oh, you kept your poise," and you know, we saw your co-host or whatever, he was kind of making jokes, and you just kept your poise about us. You said you liked us and whatnot. So here you go. He sent us an invite that way.
It's cool that they're like building something, right? They're building that hype. The thing is, can they execute now? And time will tell on that. And that's not a shot at you guys, damn it. If I'm trying to get into that Discord, let me go to the next spot.
They said they didn't hate you guys.
Oh man, I just had that meme. Like I said, I've always Eric Andre at the White House. You can say, "Let me in, dude. Just let me get in that next thing."
Hey, we're in the Discord at least. I mean,
made it so far. But it's crazy. Projects are getting creative, man. That's the next evolution of this stuff. It's very different from when we've started out here.
You have to think outside the box.
I blame you. I mean, if we had sent out a tweet or anything, they probably would have noticed.
Cardano. You probably 100%.
CardanoMan could have been like, "Yo, guys, I'm in," and they would have been like, "Okay,
yeah. I'll be your superhero of the Discord." There you go.
Yep.
Well, I know what you mean. It gets to that point even where I see some projects where I'm like, "Damn, this is a good giveaway. I kind of want to like and retweet this and share this to 2 people," but like. Not that I have like any followers, even like our Freedom 35er account. You don't want people coming to your page, look at your profile, and your last 9 tweets are all retweets for giveaways on projects. Like you kind of want to make it like a legitimate page. Yeah, exactly. So you need your like burner account so I can sit here and retweet and do this stuff.
I've done some retweeting in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, you just find yourself doing it. And then I got to go back through and remember to like, all right, like 9 of these giveaways are already over. Let's delete these from our page. I don't need these retweeted anymore. Because sometimes your whole page will be that.
Well, my first 20 tweets ever on my Twitter right now for this one specifically is all retweets. I wanted giveaways back in the day.
Yeah, they've got good engagement though. So, I mean, it's still different for these guys. I'm still curious to see how this goes. And obviously it's cool to see that they're building like a following right now. They've got people doing tributes in their Discord of like, what are you going to do? They have people writing like the lore for like the next part of the story. So it's cool that they got people interacting with this stuff. And I don't know, is it almost like where you just keep building up the hype because you don't want it to end? And then when it finally gets there, how's that going to react with everybody? Or do they have enough plans to continue on past that that's not even an issue? And they've got all these things in the works. So interesting to see what these guys have. And I just thought it was a unique style. They're slowly, fastly, not slowly, very, very quickly building hype inside this space right now.
Who's the one person they follow before you?
Hoskinson. So, yep.
I always ask that too. I'm always so curious about that.
Yep. The only person,
especially when it's one, it catches your name, it catches your eye so much.
Yeah. Can you imagine if it was just?
I'm always waiting for it to be Freedom 35.
Yeah, right.
It was me. They just followed me.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys know about Beat Boys?
Beat Boys. I've heard of that name. I don't know about them though.
They're doing something similar along the line. They like airdropped hall passes to their first followers. And then now they're doing like a free mint for whitelist where you need to mint all 3, right? And their first whitelist, like neighborhood mint, it was a Spotify link that they dropped, and the mint link was in the Spotify like bio.
That's sick.
So they're like doing everything they can to like really make sure you want to mint this.
Is that on ADA or Cardano?
Yeah,
oh, that's sick. I'll look that up.
I saw something else. I don't know if that's the same project. You said Beast Boys or Beat Boys?
Beat
Boys.
Beast
There was another.
Boys is the Soul 801.
That's the Soul. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Beat Boys.
So there was another one that I saw tonight that was like 666 of these things. It was like another weird like thing like that where it was like a kind of initiation kind of factor, and people were like really getting into it. I can't remember the name. It was a black and white logo though as well. Something Society or Order or something like that. So maybe that's the next model right now. Everybody, there's your next model to get going.
Genesis tokens, they work.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
They work.
Yeah. So one of the last things we were on the topic of Clay's over there. I just had to shout him out over here just because we had him onto the stream was Ken Adams. He's an OG inside this space. I met him over in Cardano Trees. I'm sure you guys have seen him throughout there. If you're an old money fan, you've definitely seen him because he's your press secretary over there.
Press secretary, Anderson Cooper
over there, KEWW. But I had him onto the stream over here with everybody. The reason that we got him on,
everybody, look, that's who we're at. That's who we are now.
I was like, as I was saying that, I was like, I didn't have him on. We had him on. I was just like, I always had that habit of like, yeah, I got him. We had him on over here, and he's just doing these oil paintings over there.
So cool seeing yours right there, Tommy. That's so wild.
It's
so like in the background there. Yeah, seeing the silhouette. That's so cool.
Yeah, he went ahead and dropped these. He's reached out to multiple people inside the space and is doing these live paintings, which I really love the unsig that he's done. He's a very talented guy. But he did these his second set of collections over here where he painted his Angel Baby Hit Squad here. And he's selling them as NFT like canvas oil paintings right now. And one of the reasons we had him on too is he took my blue Clay Nation. He had reached out a long time ago and was like, hey, can I paint this over here? And whatever ends up happening with this, we'll go 50-50 on these profits. So it was cool to see him kind of reveal this stuff. But the one cool thing I did want to point out in this collection was this is Barry. This is Alessandro's Space Bud. Right here, and he actually painted Alessandro's Space Bud, which is probably my favorite personally out of the 3 that he just did. It looks so well done. So I just wanted to give him a nod on this, and then shout out Ken, dude. You deserve the credit, the attention, man. I really appreciate what he does.
I think Shiny went and minted, or I think Shiny went and minted yours or the Space Bud. I know he was doing that during our live stream.
I think at the unsig.
Dude, the unsig, that's what it was. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was the unsig. That's right.
And just I don't know if you guys dude, he does such a good job on this. Yeah. It's like all oil paintings, like all legit, man. He does a very, very good job at this stuff. So it's just I wanted to shout out Ken over there for that. I thought that was really cool that he did that. And he's like, he's working with like NFT Maker and these people to like set up new contracts. Like he's very technical. I know he's big on like Project Catalyst stuff. Before this, he was doing a YouTube channel and all that stuff. So But he's an awesome dude, and it was just a cool thing to see out there. So if you guys want to support him and what he's got going on, go ahead and make sure to check these out. Only 25.8 over there if you want to mint one of these. Or you can mint the Clay, dude. Do that for me.
So use those profits from the oil painting mints to buy yourself a bill. How about that?
There you go. Oh, I will 100% do that. God, man, I wish we could talk old money a lot longer over there. That's another project that we did a community spotlight with him over there on. It's one of the coolest and most underrated projects, I'd say, in the space, even though people know about them. But the tech that they have over there, the things, the amusements that they did, the rides, like
the lore, the advertising, the marketing, everything they do is just so well thought out and detailed. It's great.
It's one of my favorite projects, and it's just even just the last release, or maybe they just did a newer one before that, but the horny pimp kits they did where they had the QR codes on the bills. I like scanned it and got to an Amazon address and bought I actually bought the little eye drops for them.
The Visine from like it was his Brodos.
Yeah. So it's crazy to see those guys, but I will definitely have to get back in it. I need to be an MFer, official, get the bill, dude.
I love old money so much. They have executed so perfectly their creative direction. Like whoever is creatively directing the entire brand and project is brilliant. And they've created basically a world that they can continue to expand upon. They've got a loyal community. Like it is so hard for me to believe that they are going to go anywhere without. Like I just love it so much.
They've also cultivated an atmosphere that's very hard to get, like within a community where it's kind of like, we don't care. Like, we're just like, fuck you guys. We don't care. Oh, you didn't get them in. Ha ha ha. Sucks for you guys. Like, when you're trying to do like the caption stuff like that and they're messing with you, but doing it at the same time where everything actually does work well, you can tell that there's a lot of care and thought put into everything. It's that like, I had pulled off like the perfect, like I look like I don't give a shit look, but it, takes a lot of time to kind of curate that. And they've done a great job with it. And the community also has just like lashed onto that. So, I mean, the fact they call themselves, MFers, just that whole thing where you can't force that though. If that's forced too much, people won't really get onto it and they'll just be like, you guys tried way too hard. We could feel it and it just wasn't funny. But when it develops naturally like that, it's just so much more powerful. And they've done the perfect job of it.
Man, even I was the last minute before that horny pimp kid. They had like the MF or FM, like the radio station that they do, and that radio station just felt so natural. Like they had them all up on the panel. It was like you literally, hey, call it. Like they just would bring you in, they talk to you for a little bit, like take your question, and then you'd be off. And it was just like jumping into the radio station. They played that whole persona. They had like the Frank Sinatra, but like every now and then you'd hear like horny or somebody's like random like voice like in the background on the playlist. Like it was just so well executed for that team. And they're like, hey, yeah, his plane's landed a little bit late. He'll be a little, maybe they had a delay in the mint or whatever it was, but yeah, his plane's late. He'll be here soon. Who knows if we'll get a chance to mint, but thanks for hanging out. And they have that. And it's just like, holy shit, like that. I loved it. I sat in there for 2 hours and I didn't, I was just waiting for that mint to happen. So
Daly had to put on a show last minute, like an extra hour.
Yes, it was so fun. And we got inspired, I think, when we did that episode, Tom. Remember we put an old money bill, one of the blue heads, and we did it. It was
our own little
Easter egg for like
we thought we were being clever.
They caught us.
We're amateurs in their community. Yeah, we thought we were doing a little Easter egg before we put one of their pictures in. Like, see if you can figure out where this is from. They had it within like a minute of the episode coming out.
And they were just like, oh, yeah, Easter egg, no problem.
And there was like multiple people, too, that guessed it right instantly.
They messaged us. Yeah, we
like,
put
we
put rank number 35's like head on our thumbnail and say, guys, if you can figure this out, you guys will win a whatever giveaway headband or something. And as soon as it got to the old money thing, dude, literally within a few minutes, they were there.
Well, here we are. We were like a bunch of assholes. Like, what happens if someone doesn't get it? Like, it's a giveaway. We're giving something away. It's our episode thumbnail. So we can't really like retweet it that well next week if someone hasn't figured it out yet, because it's like an old episode at that point. It'd be kind of weird. And then TJ, you're just like, guys, they figured it out within 5 minutes of the episode release. I'm
just going through the DMs
like, oh shit, sent us a DM with their address, like asking for the giveaway. What are you guys talking about?
It was just like, oh, okay, well, never mind.
You guys been in any of their auctions?
I have not. Did they just do one today at like 3 p.m.?
Oh my god! The back of the bills.
Yes, like the $2 bills, right? The back of them. Yeah, how rare those are.
One of them, the bid got up to $20K.
Oh my
for the back of the bill, and the person who like lost it went and bought one on secondary for $21K.
Really?
So 42K ADA on 2 back.
That was the one for
Holy
today?
hat.
Yeah, today.
That's amazing.
I feel like that's a slept on project still, because why did no one tweet about that? I mean, maybe I missed it if someone did, but shit.
So my thing with that was just why we did the community spotlight. It was like, I know about old money. I've heard about old money. I know it's fun. I know it's engaging. I'm like, I'm so lost because they have so much going on. There's not like a quick, easy, let me wrap my head around. Like, it's not like the cookie cutter NFT project. Like, oh, here's our roadmap. Here's this. It's like, no, you got to be immersed in that community to really understand what the hell's going on. And I love how they even just now, it was always Hydro and Trixon. Now they brought in Horny, and who knows, they could bring in more candidates. Like, you don't know if the election's even a thing. Like, there's so much like just mystery to the whole project, dude. It's I didn't even expect to talk about money tonight, but I can talk about money all the time. I'm
look at it now. Shit.
Payday's on Friday, man. I think I'm gonna go load up on some ADA, maybe grab a couple bills.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you that some of the most fun I've had in this space, Clark and I auctioned off one of our bills for like 3K. The top bid was 3K, something around there. And there were like 5 auctions before us. And it is just so fucking fun. There is so many people in that auction house. Like, someone sends a bid, everyone freaks out, types things, everyone goes crazy. Someone else sends a bid. Like, it is just so electric being in one of those auctions. Even if you're not selling anything, even if you're not buying anything, just being there while it's happening, it's so fun.
Man, the tech and stuff too, like the rides, like the atmosphere that they've created, like that culture, it's one of a kind inside this space. Like, there's nobody that comes close to like the interaction of what they actually do over there. Like, you got me thinking about it right now. I had to pull up just even their website just to even look at that, like how it shows them printing of the bills and just like the way they graffiti
the dev
these
work
things,
they do
like
on the back end is great. The website and stuff works so well. Like the radio thing you were talking about too, Tommy.
Oh,
like the amount of work they put into this.
Well, even like all the different things, like if you really go into the bottom of this stuff, man, we could get into this all the time. But the what is it, the
inflation times one,
and Jealous Island and Fuckerland, like all those different things are so good, like so well done over here. And people probably get lost inside this space, like what the hell is all this stuff going on? But if you click on any one of these things, you can get lost on this website for hours. And building into this stuff. And like I said, the back work that Hydro over there probably has to put in, dude, shout out to him. Huge shout out to Trixon as well for the artwork. There's nothing like this. Like, they take something that seems so simple with those dollar bills and just, it's so well done.
I was gonna say, you can't shout out one, not the other.
No. And then Horny, even now they got Horny into there where he defaced, like they got little dicks on the bill. Like, I mean, it's funny, dude. Like, you know,
I love it.
Like, it's just like some shit we would do like when we were kids and like, this would be funny. And then they do it and execute it to a point where it's like, you know, it's even like to the moon, like just funny dumb shit like that.
These are our real bills in real life right now. That'd be great.
Right. You got me hyped up. Now I want to go over to old money right now. So shout out to these guys. We're definitely going to go ahead and I need to get my bill, man. I love this though, that the roll, like if you have the white roll, you're not an MFer. And even when they were doing the radio show, the one that meant they were just like, oh shit, he's a white name over there. Should we let him up? Or is he going to scream in our face? And the guy was like, fair enough, dude. All right. The guy didn't he's like, he didn't yell at us. So we'll hang out with you. But yeah, didn't plan on talking old money tonight, but I would definitely bring that up. It's a great project. Guys, before we wrap over here on the back end, I have one last question for you. We haven't really asked this, I guess, with everybody, but what your version of Freedom 35 looks like. I guess for us, when we started this thing, it was always in crypto too, was, you know, to gain some sort of financial freedom, to be able to live a lifestyle that enabled us to, you know, do what we wanted to do, be comfortable and have fun and enjoy just life. Can you guys kind of give us, or if you've ever thought about that, what does your version of Freedom 35 look like? Clark, I kind of want to, I'll start with you.
I think that I like that idea of just like having enough money to like where I can do what I want, when I want, like with who I want, is kind of like just the overall encompassing idea that even if I have that, I don't think that I would feel like I have it all or I have enough. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, what is that perfect vision for me? Like, I'm only 24. I turned 25 in a week. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what I'm doing in a year, in 5 years, let alone like 10 years. So I think for me, it's just like to just really be comfortable with me and my situation overall. And that includes money, that includes like life. And I have a girlfriend now, like it includes just overall everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's a distinction we've had to make, like where the freedom part isn't necessarily like, I just want to sit around all day and do nothing. Like I don't want to, you know, just hit a certain number and like I quit my job and don't have to go work at all. Like I can't imagine, like you said, doing that. I couldn't imagine just stopping everything I'm doing and being like, it's more like it's more it's more getting to that state where you don't have to maybe like rely on some things that you wouldn't be doing otherwise. And then now you're like free to work on the things you're only passionate in and continue to build on that. You know, there's never like a stopping point. I agree. It's just, it would be impossible to do.
Yeah, just doing what I'm passionate, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm still finding new things that I love all the time. I mean, a year ago, I only liked trading shit coins on Binance. Now here I am 600 NFTs later. Like,
No, 100%. And just building off what you said, Clark, about it's not necessarily like, I want to get all the money in the world and be able to do whatever I want. I think for me, I'd love to get to a point where financially I'm stable and I have enough income and everything that I kind of want that aren't grand, extravagant things I can get, and everything that I need is accounted for, but I don't actually have all the money, and because of that, I still have a ton of motivation to keep building and keep doing things. Because I think once you get to a point where you do have basically fuck you money, whether people want to admit it or not, it can be hard to be motivated to keep building and keep kind of just expanding what you're doing as a human. It can be difficult. You really have to be passionate about certain things. And obviously, if you're driven by your passion, there is no amount of money that will stop you. But none of us know that to be true because none of us have fuck you money yet. So
right.
Yeah.
Now,
Tommy's got that 101 OE though.
I do, but right now it's not worth that fuck you money. It's worth some money, but not fuck you money. Maybe in 5 years it's worth fuck you money.
It's more of a screw you money, you know. It's a little nicer, a little PG
like,
version.
Hey, that's nice.
Screw you.
That's good money. But I think one thing for us inside this NFT community, like we always Freedom 35. I think Tom, you created that chat back in 2017 when we were trading like XRP and Tron and off Binance with Ethereum and stuff, because we thought we were going to make it, go to the moon, whatever the hell that was. That's kind of why we always had to play with the rocket ship into the Cardano moon over here. But once we realized that wasn't going to be the case, we didn't make it in that time frame. Getting into this NFT world, it's been interesting because it's like, yes, you can make money in this, but the relationships and the things that we've gained, I found like a brain. Like I said, a year ago, I was trading shitcoins, but I was also like motivated by other things in life. And now here I am, I've had this huge passion for this blockchain technology and all these wonderful creators and artists and people that we met over the last year. And my like passion has started to grow, and it's like, okay, well, now that I'm doing my career job and I have this, it's like my passion's starting to pull me this way, but it's like, this is how I make money. This is how I survive. And it's like,
so
how do you combine the two, right? Like, how do I take my passion and make that money and live? And I think that's really where Freedom 35 for us comes. And it's always like, I got 2 years left before Freedom 35 happens, man.
You got a year and a few months, Tommy. Come on now.
So I always make the joke is that's why I get the lucky mints, because I'm older than these guys and I need to get there quicker. So they're giving me the good stuff now to get me there faster.
That's still bullshit.
But it's been awesome. That's great to hear that. I love that answer from both of you guys. Cause like you said, you'll never, I don't know, like you may feel satisfied when you get that money, but I feel like everybody wants to continue to grow and lean into that passion, because if you are, then the money's not the motivator anymore. It's just what you do. So I think that's cool. And guys, we appreciate you jumping in, man. It's just it
was a great time.
It was a little bit different of a style. Still got into the some of the stuff we wanted to talk about, but we really hit into some topics that are deep at the same time inside of this NFT space that we may not always elaborate on. So we appreciate your guys' insight, because obviously you've been around here the same amount of time and experienced some of the things and more than we have. So it's cool to hear your guys' backstory too, and kind of compare and contrast some of that stuff.
This has been super delightful, and it's amazing for me to kind of watch how you guys have grown while at the same time we've grown. Because I remember when you guys started and had 200-300 followers, and it was like, these dudes are doing a podcast, and that is fucking awesome. And so to kind of get to this point where now we're, both of us in our own respective ways are established, and we have our niche and we have our thing, and to come together and have this conversation is just awesome. And I'd love to do it again. And
absolutely, anytime.
I wanted to say, I still remember the first time. One was like, oh, CardanoMan liked one of our tweets. Like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But even then, more like it was after that happened, we're just like, see, I told you, like, they totally know who we are. Like, they've heard of
That's
it.
it for real.
There's no way they haven't seen like one of our tweets or something. We got like a retweet once from Grumpy Bunnies. They must have seen something in there. And then we saw a like, we're like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then, now on the show. So it just kind of comes full circle. It's been awesome to be able to do this.
Yeah, I've definitely listened in on some podcasts, like, because at my work, it's just so easy to throw on, like, so easy. And the content's good. It's there,
We appreciate it, man. It's like, at the end of the day, we're not trying to be somebody we're not. I know it's, we're not the typical YouTuber out there these days. And, to a degree, sometimes we compare ourselves to that kind of thing. But I think at the end of the day, we always wanted to talk and enjoy and just get to know people inside the space. And it's gone way. I remember before we ever started this, it was always, dude, what if these people want to talk to us one day? What if we can talk to one of those people one day? And now it's like, hey, who are we talking to next this week? Because we have like all these people asking us to, and it's just been like kind of surreal almost at the same time. But it's amazing to see like guys like yourself who have come up and have established a name for yourselves as well. Because obviously you guys have grown exponentially too, which is really cool to see. And then for us, like you said, to be able to combine here, have this conversation and just enjoy talking about what we're all passionate about in the first place.
100%. And I mean, I guess you guys have had kind of everyone, but if there's anyone that you can't get in touch with, just let me know. I can connect you. And
Charles Hoskinson.
I wish. I'm scared. That's a bid.
Okay, that's a big one. That's a little bit of a big ask.
That's a little stretch, right?
What about
I feel like you could pull that one though. I really feel like you guys have branded yourself well enough to do that. I think you could pull it.
It's like my biggest fear. He's gonna like somehow we're gonna come cross paths and be like, who the fuck are you? And why are you calling yourself CardanoMan? Like, I'm CardanoMan.
That'd be funny if you said that.
Tell him he needs to go to Freedom 35ers podcast, episode 32, technically episode 33 for the OGs. Go to timestamp 22 minutes or whatever, and he'll get his answer. No, that'd be dope, man. We appreciate that. I think maybe after stream we'll take you up on one of those for some people. But dude, we appreciate you guys jumping on here. It's been an honor to host you guys. Hopefully we haven't kept you too long. I know it always tends to be this way, but I had a really enjoyable conversation tonight. It was fun to kind of switch it up a bit and get back to let's just talk about this stuff and get into it. I had a great time. So thank you guys for jumping on tonight. It's been a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. You guys rock.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And lastly, for anybody who's listening, what's the best place to go ahead and get in contact if they want to learn more about you or just kind of get to know you guys?
Clark.
Yeah.
If they don't already know.
Right.
If you DM CardanoMan, chances are I read it and not him. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
and not Discord. Definitely not Discord.
Yeah. I don't know. I look through my DMs a lot, but I'll get like 30 down and it's all like, check out my new project. And I don't want to go any farther. So yeah, it's hard.
I hear it. Well, if anything, like you guys are staying in spaces and sayings every now and then, it seems like, but I mean, just look around throughout the community, shoot a tweet out every now and then. Like you said, you guys see it. Even if you don't respond, it's like, hey, I acknowledge that. Sometimes, when I get a chance, I'll get back with you guys kind of thing.
Well, that's the one thing we always see it. I think people think that's not the case. Like if you're trying to get Fahad Dukin's attention, you tweet at him, he probably sees it. Like these bigger accounts like me and everyone else, like they see everything. So don't think you're neglected or just like not visible. You're visible and it'll come. There's just a million. There's so many people trying to get at us, get our attention, DM us, check out it's like, it's hard.
And it comes from the content creator and other just in general, media, like social media, like spaces. It's like, holy shit, I'm getting hit from every way right now. And some days I just want a day to like relax. And that may have been a day that you sent me something and I didn't respond. And it's just like, shit, I wasn't intentional or anything like that. It's just a matter of I'll catch up when we can or shoot me another something maybe. And we'll get a chance to follow up. So,
and if Mallard order reaches out, you guys see it, right? You definitely see that one.
Mallard.
I would not miss that one. If you're out there and you're listening.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate it. It's been awesome to host you guys on CardanoMan, Clark, Kent. Thank you guys both for joining us. It's been another episode of Freedom 35ers. We'll catch you guys on the next one.